Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Wolverine football is also brought to you by the Triangle Barn Grill, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, the law offices of Owen Seaman, Bush Brothers Car Care, the Barber's Inn in Swissvale, LG3 Entertainment, Web Landings, A-Boss Opticians, Matthews Auto Service, and DeZubin Dental Associates. Now it's time for the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show.
A pleasant good evening and welcome to the Wolverena, the Turtle Creek Stadium, home of your Woodland Hills Wolverines. And tonight it's home to a WPIAL 5A conference matchup between the Woodland Hills Wolverines and the Upper St. Clair Panthers. Woodland Hills 0-3 on the season, 0-2 within the conference. Meanwhile, Upper St. Clair 3-0 on the year and 2-0 in the conference. Last time out for Woodland Hills, it was a 20-0 loss at Peters Township. Meanwhile, Upper St. Clair won at Baldwin on the road, 28-21. Adam Gusky, Eric Shuley up here in the booth. Down on the field, it's Rick McIntyre joining us for today's game. And Eric, Woodland Hills certainly had a tough go of it down in the South Hills a week ago.
Yeah, Adam, they're never able to really get things going on offense, struggled the whole game, had some turnovers, had some miscues before plays, and, you know, it spiraled out of control. And, you know, that's what's going to happen sometimes you play a game like that on the road against an up-and-coming team like Peters Township.
And, you know, a week ago it was tough. The last time I saw the Wolverines at Bethel Park, it was another tough go of it. Woodland Hills made the push at the Bethel Park Blackhawks in the third quarter, but Bethel Park was able to surge back in the fourth quarter and get the win in that game. Similar story here at the Wolverena in the opening weekend.
Yeah, Adam, got it back to about 6 points in that game against Bethel Park, but they were never able to get any closer. And obviously Bethel Park pulled ahead and won that game by 21, but big game tonight for the Wolverines, get back in the conference.
Let's send it down the field where Rick McIntyre joins us. And Rick, obviously, you've got to have spoken with some folks down there on the field. What's the feel going into this game?
Well, Adam, I know it was a million years ago when me and you were on this field, but games like this tonight where maybe a lot of folks around you don't expect you to win, these are the games that are real easy to get up for. Everybody loves having that underdog mentality. I know this Wolverine squad definitely thrives on that. Talking to a few coaches in the locker room, they were fortunate enough to speak with the athletic director this morning, and with the WPI or the PIAA standards and the school eligibility requirements, there are a number of linemen that are going to be eligible again tonight. So we're going to see more of a true starting lineup here up front with the big dogs for the Wolverines. So we'll see how that impacts the game.
Thanks a lot, Rick. We're going to step away as our pregame show continues. And when we return, we'll get you set for the kickoff. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Woodland Hills football is brought to you in part by the law offices of Owen Seaman. Owen is a Woodland Hills alumnus who studied law at Duquesne University and has been practicing law in the Pittsburgh area for over 15 years. Attorney Owen Seaman's experience encompasses virtually every facet of criminal defense. If you find yourself in need of criminal defense representation, call Owen at 412-721-0412 or visit owenthelawyer.com. There are a few things that guys like more than a great haircut at a real barbershop. And at the Barber's Inn on Washington Avenue in Swissvale, you'll find both. Plus, you can relax in style on supple leather sofas while watching their big screen HD TV. You can even shoot some pool while you wait. But most importantly, you'll walk out the door with a haircut or shave that you're sure to love. Walk-ins are always welcome at the Barber's Inn. For more information, call 412-271-7434. And remember, real men come to the Barber's Inn.
LG3 Entertainment is a first-class disc jockey and karaoke entertainment company that serves the Pittsburgh and surrounding areas. They offer a wide range of music entertainment for weddings, anniversaries, school dances, corporate events, and more. They also offer beautiful chair cover linen rentals to give your event the elegance it deserves. They offer many more services, so go to their website today and see why so many choose LG3 Entertainment for the best in family fun entertainment. Whether you need a new website or want to improve your existing site, Web Landings can serve your needs. Web Landings provides professional, easy-to-maintain websites for businesses, organizations, and individuals. Discover more at weblandings.com and find out how editing your site can be as easy as using a word processor. Plus, we offer 1 year of free hosting for any website developed. Visit weblandings.com today.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
And we welcome you back to the Wolverine.
Woodland Hills has won the coin toss, elected to defer.
As Woodland Hills takes on Upper St. Clair, and as you hear our referee, Tim Barker.
Upper St. Clair will receive to begin the game. Good luck, gentlemen.
Woodland Hills wins the toss. They defer. Upper St. Clair will receive to begin the game in this 5A conference matchup. And Rick talked about it in the previous segment of the pregame show, Eric. Woodland Hills going to be a little deeper today because of some eligibility requirements being met. Add to that the fact that the Wolverines are getting a little bit healthier, and that's good news for Woodland Hills, especially since the Wolverines have, to our knowledge, never started 0-3, and we know they've never started 0-4.
Exactly, Adam. Right away on the coin flip, you see Mike Coleman out there, the D1 Toledo recruit for the Wolverines. That's a great sign.
As we get ready for kickoff here at the Wolverena, we thank you for joining us all across the Woodland Hills Football Network, and we want to apologize for our technical difficulties a week ago, which prevented us from broadcasting live here on the Woodland Hills Football Network, but glad to have you along with us both live and on our replays, both on our TV affiliates and on our YouTube channel this upcoming week. Send it down to the field where we're nearly ready for kickoff here in Turtle Creek, PA, where kicking off for the Wolverines is Chucky Hanchett. Back deep to return for Upper St. Clair is David Pantelis, and he's joined back there by Chris Pantelis. So a couple of Pantelises back there to return the kick. Hanchett waits the signal. And the run up by Hanchett. And we are underway in Turtle Creek, PA. Ball back to the goal line. And they will say that the 1 foot in bounds is enough for the return man Pantelis to bring the ball out to the 28-yard line, where he's brought down by Sidney Summers. Good to have him back in the lineup and making an impact immediately. It'll be 1st and 10 for Upper St. Clair with the ball at their own 28.
Adam looked like he might slip through a hole there, but the Wolverines were able to take care of him, bring him down at around the 28. It was very close to being a touchback, so Upper St. Clair lucks out on that one.
Pistol formation for the Panthers as Chris Pantelis. Or check that, that's Jason Sweeney handing off to Antonio Orsini, and Orsini is brought down a couple of yards deep in the backfield, and the Wolverines make a big defensive play right away as DeJuan Howells makes the stop.
Big play by Howells, Adam. He has been one of the men who's been out for the Wolverines early in the season. He comes back and an immediate impact from Howells. Exactly what you want to see.
Ball back to the 23, so that makes it 2nd down and 15. Again, the pistol with Sweeney. Play action. Sweeney rolling, pressured, he's wrapped, he's sacked. Anthony Meredith with the big play.
Oh, Adam, that was just fantastic. Wolverines get pressure and make Sweeney draw further and further back, and Anthony Meredith, the star running back and linebacker for the Wolverines, with a huge sack that sets the Panthers way back on a 3rd and long.
2 encouraging plays for the Wolverines defensively on the first 2 plays of the game. And, you know, it's good to see the Wolverines defense not get punched in the mouth coming out of the gate like we saw the first couple of weeks.
Absolutely, Adam.
So Sweeney under center. And he will hand off straight up the gut. Jim Render satisfied to punt the ball away to the Wolverines offense. Short gain there by Antonio Orsini. And that brings up 4th and long.
Very encouraging start for the Wolverines, Adam. Exactly what they needed. Hopefully the offense mirrors it.
Sweeney, the punter. Back deep to return for Woodland Hills is Jay Smith. End over end punt. Smith will get underneath it at the Panthers 45. He heads across the field, slides through a tackle, sidesteps another one, shoves his way forward. He'll be wrapped and brought down after a modest return by Harvey Roush, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Woodland Hills. Decent field position at the upper St. Clair 43.
Yeah, with the great play by the defense, Adam, that sets the Wolverines up in great field position, even though, as you said, it was just a modest return.
9:57 to play here in a scoreless first quarter. Woodland Hills hosting Upper St. Clair in Turtle Creek, Pennsylvania. Adam Gusky, Eric Schuley, Rick McIntyre on the call for you here on the Woodland Hills Football Network. Gavin Judson gets the start at QB, steps under center. High backfield behind him. A little bit of miscommunication in the delay to Anthony Meredith still leads to positive yardage for the Wolverines as Meredith is brought down by Quinn Murray. Also in on the stop is Harvey Roush.
Yeah, Adam, looked like they got some immediate penetration, did the Panthers, and Meredith was able to slip through a pair of Panthers and get a nice little chunk of yardage for the Wolverines.
Hodge, the center, seemed to not be on the same page with everybody else, but the good thing was Judson took the snap, handed it off to Meredith, and the Wolverines got some yardage out of it. It's 2nd and 7 with the ball at the 40. Ball in the middle of the field as Judson motions a man from right to left, and Christopher Jones. Pitch to the left-hand side. Meredith cutting it back, driving his way forward. Gang tackled at the 35-yard line. A pickup of a handful. Leading the charge, David Pantelis for Upper St. Clair, and it's 3rd and a very manageable 2 from the 35-yard line.
Nice to see a little pitch worked in there, Adam. We haven't seen much of that from the Wolverines yet this season, but Meredith takes the pitch and makes a nice cut up the right side and up the middle, and nice little chunk of yardage for the Wolverines again.
Judson steps under center with an eye backfield behind him. Receivers split to either side. Hard count by Judson. Handoff. Meredith goes right, fades back to the left-hand side, drives his way forward to the 31-yard line where it'll be enough for a Woodland Hills first down.
Keeping on the ground, Adam, early, and why not when you have a guy like Anthony Meredith? Gets you the first down of the game.
Judson goes to the sideline and gets the play from second-year head coach Tim Bostard. And the Wolverines break the huddle, and again it's the I backfield with Meredith dotting the I behind Christopher Jones. Hand off Meredith, and whistles blow before the snap. And we'll send it down to Tim Barker, our referee.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense. 5 yards from the previous spot. Still first down.
So that'll push Woodland Hills back 5 yards to the 36-yard line where it'll be first down and 15 for Woody High.
That was a problem last week, Adam, for the Wolverines. And it wasn't a problem the week before against Bethel Park, but hopefully it is not resurfacing with that early false start penalty on the Wolverines.
One back set as Jones crabs to the right-hand side. Pitch to the right on a stretch play. Flag comes down as Meredith drives his way inside of the 30 to the 25-yard line, down towards the 24. We're going to have to check in with Tim Barker to see what this call is.
Illegal shift on the offense. 5 yards from the previous spot. Still first down.
You know, right as I say that, Adam, another penalty on the Wolverines there. Back them up another 5 yards.
Ball favors the left hash as Woodland Hills faces a 1st and 20 at the 41-yard line. Woodland Hills breaks the huddle with an eye backfield behind Gavin Judson. One receiver split to either side, tight end to the left. Straight drop back. Judson looks left, throws left. Pass complete to the near sideline for Jaden Lucas. He sidesteps a tackler inside of the 25, forced out of bounds near the 23-yard line. Big pickup there on 1st and 20, making it a very manageable 2nd and short.
Very, very nice play by Jaden Lucas. A nice pass by Judson, Adam. That's a weapon you need to use if you're the Wolverines. Jaden Lucas, you have to get him involved. His speed and his shiftiness is fantastic.
Pickup of 19. Wolverines needed 20, so it's 2nd down and 1 with the ball at the 22. Wolverines break the huddle. One back set. Jones the wing to the left. He'll now crab from left to right. Pitch to Meredith. He cuts right now back to the left-hand side. He's got the first down to the 20-yard line, a pickup of 2 before he's gang tackled. Down at the bottom of the pile is Antonio Orsini for Upper St. Clair.
I like that play by Meredith, Adam. Very, very smart to know where the first down marker was and just go forward and get the first down and don't try and do anything else crazy.
Clock winding towards 7 minutes to play here in a scoreless first quarter, but Woodland Hills threatens 1st and 10 as they enter the red zone. Ball in the center of the field as Judson brings the Wolverines to the line of scrimmage. One receiver split to either side and a wing to the right, and Christopher Jones. One back set, William Clark. Jones now crabs from right to left and whistles blow. And we're going to check in with our referee.
Prior to the snap, delay of game. Offense. 5 yards from the previous spot. Still first down.
So that is the 3rd penalty against Woodland Hills, costing them 5 yards on this drive. They overcame it with a nice pass to Jaden Lucas, and then Meredith's run gave Woodland Hills the first down at the 20. Now it's 1st and 15 at the 25 as Clark dots the I behind Jones. Judd's straight drop back, pressured. He's going to tuck and run. He's going to get inside of the 25 to the 24-yard line for a gain of 1 where the tackle's made by Harvey Roush.
Good decision by Judson there, Adam. I would have liked to see him protect the ball a little bit better, but did not fumble, so that's important, but able to avoid the sack and just get a little gain of 1.
Clock winding towards 6 minutes to play now in a scoreless first quarter. Ball on the left hash. Judson breaks the huddle. Receivers split to either side. Tight end right as Jones is the wing to the left and Clark the tailback. Handoff to Clark. Has a hole over right tackle, driving his way forward. A pickup of a few before he stood up straight and finally dumped down to the turf.
Always like to see William Clark getting some carries in there, Adam. He's had a great start to his season for the Wolverines.
And again, Roush involved in the tackle for Upper St. Clair. He has been a significant defensive contributor thus far in this football game for the Panthers.
Looks like Davion Rochelle coming out off the sideline, Adam. Another weapon at the receiver position for the Wolverines.
Rochelle's going to split to the right-hand side as the ball's in the middle of the field.
Timeout.
Woodland Hills will use a timeout, so we'll
First
step away
charge,
too.
timeout.
5:16 to play in a scoreless first quarter. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Back at the Wolverena, where Woodland Hills faces a 3rd down and 12 with the ball at the 22. Judson shotgun, low snap, looks right, pressured. Now he'll roll to his left-hand side. He's going to tuck. He's going to settle as a flag comes in. Judson's forced out of bounds. And it's either going to be 3rd and quite long for Woodland Hills here or 4th down, so it's a decision to be made by head coach Jim Render. We'll check in with our referee, Tim Barker.
There is no foul for illegal block in the back. 4th down.
Well, no decision to be made for Coach Render. Instead, Woodland Hills will face a 4th down and 10 after the 2-yard pickup by Gavin Judson, and Tim Bostard's not going to bring out his field goal unit. The Wolverines are going to go for it here on 4th down and 10 at the 20.
Like the aggressive call, Adam, but you got a good kicker, so we'll see what happens here on a 4th and long.
Trips right, one receiver to the short side left as the ball's on the left hash. Judson in the shotgun. Low snap, but he gathers it. Looking right the whole way, pressured, spinning, now running to his right-hand side is Judson. Settles his feet, tosses it, and it's tipped and nearly intercepted, but it'll hit the turf. Chris Pantelis on the defense as the pass was intended for Jaden Lucas, and a turnover on downs for the Wolverines.
Yeah, it had some promise on that drive, Adam, but stalled right out about the red zone and weren't able to convert that 4th down, which is tough, but hopefully the defense can continue from where they left off.
So Upper St. Clair's offense takes the field for the second time today, and for the second time they take it inside of their own 30, this time at the 20. Send it down to the field. Rick, obviously Woodland Hills a little dejected after turning the football over on downs. However, a promising drive, and they're running the ball a little more efficiently than we've seen.
Yeah, nice little spark there from the defense on that first series, stopping them and 3 and out. Offense looks really good. We're getting good yardage. We just got to stop making the mental errors and the offsides and the illegal shifts. And I think cut the penalties out. This is going to be an excellent ball game.
Antonio Orsini making the tackle, or rather running the football after the tackle made by Meredith. A 2-yard gain for Upper St. Clair brings up 2nd down and 8 with the ball at the 22-yard line. 4.5 minutes to play here in quarter number 1. Again, the handoff to Orsini. He'll gather his balance and dive his way across the 25-yard line to the 26, where again Anthony Meredith makes the tackle for the Woodland Hills defense from his linebacker spot.
Yeah, impressive way of keeping his balance there, Adam, for Orsini. And it got a nice little chunk of yardage for the Panthers, able to put them in a 3rd and manageable about 5 yards here.
Yeah, Antoine Meredith initially made the contact in the backfield, but then Anthony Meredith had to clean up the play as Orsini brought it across the 25 to the 26, bringing up that 3rd down and 4. Ball in the right hash for the Panthers as they break the huddle in a pistol. Twins to the left, or rather trips to the left, one receiver to the short side right, throw to the short side right, and the pass is complete to Chris Pantelis. Pantelis out of bounds, shy of the 1st down flag at the 28-yard line, so it's a pickup, they're going to say out to the 29, so a pickup of 3 makes it 4th down and 1. And Coach Render's going to bring the punt unit on.
This would be a huge risk to fake it, Adam, but you got to watch out on these 4th and 1 situations that they just don't try a short snap and just try and pound it up the middle.
Sweeney, the punter, boots this one away, and it's coming to the near sideline, and it will take a bounce in favor of the Panthers and then go out of bounds. And the ball will be spotted at the 41-yard line of the Wolverines, and that's where they'll take over 1st and 10. Punt, turnover on downs for Woodland Hills, and then another punt for Upper St. Clair. And that's where we stand as Woodland Hills starts this drive.
Certainly an encouraging start, again, for the Wolverines defense, Adam. Coach Tim doing some mixing and matching there, as you mentioned, Meredith out there. Not Anthony Meredith, Antoine Meredith out there. No DeJuan Howes that time on the defensive line. Now Rondy Stubbs.
So Stubbs will get this set of downs at the quarterback spot with an eye backfield behind him. He'll hand off to Anthony Meredith, who hesitates, then drives his way to the 45-yard line for a pickup of 4.
Good job by Meredith there, Adam. It looked like it was going to be no gain or only a gain of 1. He's able to power forward, get 4 yards for the Wolverines.
Will Phillips making the tackle for Upper St. Clair after that 4-yard pickup from Meredith. 3:15 to play here in quarter number 1 as Woodland Hills and Upper St. Clair are knotted up at 0 apiece. Ball in the center of the field as Stubbs brings the team to the line of scrimmage. Wing to the right, 1 receiver to either side. Pitch to the right. Meredith running right, cutting it back left as he sidesteps a tackle and drives his way out to the 48-yard line before he's wrestled to the turf. Again on the tackle, Harvey Roush for Upper St. Clair.
Another nice run, Adam, for the Wolverines. Mixing in that pitch again, this time to the right. It was last time it was to the left, but nice cut by Meredith, able to come forward and get a few extra yards and create a 3rd and 3 now for the Wolverines.
Ball on the right hash. We'll see if Stubbs goes to the air here as he'll split 2 receivers to the wide side left. High backfield. Stubbs looking left, throwing left, pass complete. Jaden Lucas has the reception, and he will be brought down by Chris Pantelis after a Wolverines 1st down at the Upper St. Clair 43.
I was in traffic too, Adam, and last week Rick and I talked about how the Wolverines need to utilize the middle of the field because, as you can see, the talent and athleticism of the Wolverines, even in traffic, Jaden Lucas can still make the catch.
So 1st and 10 for Woody High here with the ball at the Upper St. Clair 43. Stubbs hands off. Hesitation, then a burst by Meredith. He'll slide his way forward, finally brought down after a gain of 11 by David Pantelis, and another Woodland Hills 1st down on the ground.
If not for David Pantelis there, Adam, he'd have been taking that one to the house, but a nice 1st down run for Anthony Meredith on 1st down.
Clock winding under 2 minutes to play here in a scoreless first quarter, and again, a productive drive by Woodland Hills. Upper St. Clair twice, 3 and out. Woodland Hills drove the ball down to the Upper St. Clair 20 before turning it over on downs on their first drive. This drive starting at the 41, and now Woodland Hills has it at the Upper St. Clair 32. Pitch right, Meredith bursts free inside of the 25, the 20, the 15. A flag is down behind the play as Meredith is brought down at the 11-yard line. And you've got to wonder, is this flag necessarily consequential to the play?
Yeah, Adam, usually those kind of flags result in a holding, and we know we are not unfamiliar with that. We see that very often here for the Wolverines.
During the run, holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
So 10 yards from the spot of the foul, and the spot of the foul was around the 24-yard line, so they'll back that ball up to the 34-yard line, bringing up first down and a dozen. Like I said, in that circumstance, is the hold consequential to the play? Because if it isn't, I think that's a time where an official maybe want to swallow the flag.
Exactly, Adam.
Handoff, Clark bouncing left, cutting it back to the right-hand side, met by a host of white jerseys. And Clark will pick up 4, maybe 3, making it second down and 9 with the ball at the 31-yard line.
Yeah, that's tough, Adam. After that big run by Meredith, you do not want to give the Panthers free opportunities like that to have second chances.
So we saw the first drive of the game for the Woodland Hills offense stifled by penalties. Hopefully that's not the case here after the hold. Jones motions from left to right. He'll settle on that right-hand side. Pitch to the right. Clark bouncing it to the outside, inside of the 30. Brought down near the 25-yard line. They'll say he steps out at the 24. So a decent pickup there of 7 yards makes it third down and 2.
Clark really utilized his speed there on the edge, and we've seen more of his power so far this year, but that speed coming through there as he gets the edge, gets some extra yardage along the sideline.
Antonio Orsini in on the tackle for Upper St. Clair to make this a third down and 2. Ball at the 24. Line to gain is the 22. 2 receivers split left. The ball's on the right hash. Handoff, Clark hesitates, bounces to the right. He's gone inside of the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. End zone, touchdown, William Clark.
Great run by Will Clark, Adam. And the first thing I did was look for any flags, but there's no yellow line during the field. Big run for the Wolverines and a great start to get up 6-0 and hopefully 7-0 early.
And really what you've got to give him credit for not only was ability to cut to the left, or cut to the right rather, after the play designed to go to the left, but his vision to see it go that way.
Definitely, Adam. That's a big thing to see from a guy like Will Clark.
Hanchett on to attempt the point after touchdown as Woodland Hills scores for the first time since the third quarter of the game at Bethel Park. Decent snap, hold down, kick up by Hanchett is good, and with 28.5 seconds to play in the first quarter, Woodland Hills leads Upper St. Clair 7-0. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale is a proud sponsor of the Wolverines and has been serving the Woodland Hills community for nearly 3/4 of a century. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're gonna love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Woodland Hills up 7-0 on Upper St. Clair on a William Clark touchdown run covering 22 yards. We'll send it down to Rick McIntyre. You had a view field level just behind that play. How'd that look?
That looked very fast from down here, Adam. I think what Woodland Hills is starting to see here is we've got the speed on the edge. If we can just contain that corner, we're going to break some long plays off the cracks.
Speaking of speed to the edge, coming to the near side is a return man for Upper St. Clair, and he will be forced out of bounds. Chris Pantel is forced out of bounds along that near boundary. And again, you're taking a look, if you're watching our TV broadcast, as Clark went left, cut to the right, and he was just off to the races. You could tell just as he turned the corner, there was nobody that was going to get him.
Exactly, Adam.
I mean, the flow of the play was all going left, so everybody got sucked left, and he just had one man to beat on that corner. Sweeney steps under center, hands off to Orsini. Orsini drives his way out to the 41-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down and 6.
Like a very favorable spot there, Adam. I wasn't even sure he made the 40, but they will put it up at the 41 for the Panthers for 2nd down.
This is end of the first quarter.
So 1 quarter in the books. Woodland Hills on top of Upper St. Clair, 7-0. We're going to step away. More of the Wolverines and the Panthers when we return on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Serving the Turtle Creek Valley and neighboring Woodland Hills communities for over 110 years, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home now offers crematory services at their Turtle Creek location. Families choosing cremation can have added peace of mind knowing that their loved one never leaves the care of Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, and that their crematory is used exclusively for the families they serve.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Woodland Hills leads Upper St. Clair 7-0 here in Turtle Creek, Pennsylvania, as the Wolverines look to get their first victory of the season. Woodland Hills returning home for the first time since week 0. The first week of the season, Woodland Hills took on Woodrow Wilson out of the D.C. area, and Woodrow Wilson had a comeback victory to defeat Woodland Hills. And then in week number 2, Woodland Hills fell to Bethel Park. And then last week, Woodland Hills lost 20-0 at Peters Township. Woodland Hills looks to right the ship against the undefeated Upper St. Clair Panthers. And off going up the gut for Upper St. Clair. Not much room for the ball carrier there, is down at the bottom of the pile. Again is Orsini, and a tackle is made by Jeffrey Williams.
You know you're going to see a lot of running from Upper St. Clair, although this year they've been putting it in the air a little bit more than they usually do. But so far today, we've seen most of the ground game from the Panthers.
So it's 3rd down and 5 for Woody High with the football approaching the 43-yard line. The line to gain is the 47. As Sweeney is in the shotgun, twins to either side, and a sidecar to his right. He'll throw to this near side, and the pass is complete to Pantelis, and Pantelis is dragged down at the midfield stripe by Jeffrey Williams.
Yeah, decent coverage there by the Wolverines, Adam, but it was a nice throw and completion and a big first down for Upper St. Clair for their first of the game.
First and 10, ball at the 50-yard line for Upper St. Clair. Ball on the left hash as Sweeney brings his team to the line of scrimmage with an offset eye. Wing to the right, receiver to the near side left. Straight drop back. Sweeney has a receiver wide open, straight down the right seam was David Pantelis. He couldn't hang on to it. There's also a flag down in the backfield.
Interested to see what this is, Adam. It was pretty late.
Check in with the referee, Tim Barker.
Personal foul. Illegal hands to the face mask on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Result, first down.
Now, Woodland Hills had breached the neutral zone, but then Howes got back. No flag was thrown there. And then, during the course of the play, one of the Woodland Hills, probably defensive lineman, got a hand up in the face mask of someone. And that's where the flag was thrown. And there's a lot to look at there to try to ascertain where the flag came from. Getting word that it may have been Sidney Summers, the guilty party. Straight drop back. Sweeney now pressured. He'll run to the left. Tucks, and he'll be brought down to the turf. Tackle on the play by Tywan Milton. Also in on the tackle, William Clark for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Wolverines getting a lot of penetration so far when the Panthers are going to the pass, Adam, and that's very good to see because that's something they haven't had much of so far this year.
2nd and 8 as the clock winds under. 10.5 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Woodland Hills on top of Upper St. Clair by a score of 7-0 on a 22-yard touchdown run by William Clark. 2nd and 8 with the ball at the Woodland Hills 33 for Upper St. Clair. Deep pistol for Sweeney as he'll be wrestled down by last week's State Senator Jay Costa Player of the Game, Michael Roman. And Roman could have dumped him after the whistle.
Oh,
Heady
absolutely,
play
Adam.
there by the senior linebacker to not dump Sweeney down after the whistle. Instead, Woodland Hills will be very happy with the 4-yard loss, bringing up 3rd down and a dozen.
Well, that was a quick whistle, Adam, in my opinion, and that's one of those situations where if he breaks free from that grasp of Roman, you know Upper St. Clair is going to be upset. But nonetheless, great play by Michael Roman.
Well, Roman seemed to get the second grip in there, and I think that's when the officials decided that was the end of the play. So 3rd and a dozen now for Upper St. Clair as they'll split trips to the short side left, one receiver to the wide side right. Screen set up, and Woodland Hills took the bait, but a nice open field tackle there as Michael Coleman makes the stop on Antonio Orsini in the open field. A gain of just 3 brings up 4th down and 9.
That's what you get from Mike Coleman, the Toledo recruit, Adam. He makes those big open field tackles in situations like that. The Wolverines have been hurt by screen passes before many times in the past, but Mike Coleman puts an end to that.
Speaking of Toledo, how about the pipeline Woodland Hills has established with the University of Toledo over the past several years?
It's pretty impressive having a Trayvon Mathis now in the NFL with the Minnesota Vikings. Got Art Tompkins there right now. Just keeps on coming.
Saeed Holt's there.
Saeed Holt there currently.
4th down and 9, ball at the 34. Play action as Sweeney will roll to his left. He's pressured. He's hit as he releases the football. Jump ball, and the ball is ripped away at the goal line. The receiver, David Pantelis, had his hands on it, but the defensive back, Jaden Lucas, tore it out of his mitts, and it will be a turnover on downs.
Now, that was a huge play for the Wolverines, Adam. It looked like David Pantelis was able to come down with it. All year he's been making big plays for the Panthers, but right there he was unable to come down with it, and the Wolverines get a big stop and the ball back.
So it'll be 1st down and 10 for Upper St. Clair, or for Woodland Hills rather, at their own 34-yard line. Last drive for the Wolverines started with 3:35 to play in the first quarter at their own 41-yard line, and they drove the ball 59 yards over the course of 3 minutes and 5 seconds to end up crossing the goal line and getting a TD. High backfield as again Stubbs the QB. Handoff, and the tailback runs to the left-hand side as Meredith is the ball carrier this time. And again, in on the tackle is Harvey Roush. This time no gain, brings up 2nd and 10.
Classic beginning to a drive for the Wolverines, Adam, but not much doing there. Sometimes more successful than others.
Clock winding, just over 8 minutes to play now in the second quarter. Woodland Hills up by 7. Stubbs will step under center with a one-back set behind him. Woodland Hills stretching it to the right. Meredith cutting it back inside. He'll cross the 40, wrestling his way forward, trying to pick up the 1st down. He'll be brought down just shy by Will Phillips. And that spot is probably about 24 inches shy of where Meredith had gotten to. So it'll be 3rd and a true 1 instead of 3rd and about a foot. From our vantage point, it looked like it was going to be about 3rd and a foot. So Woodland Hills now breaks the huddle with an eye backfield behind Stubbs. And Meredith takes the call, runs left. He's got the 1st down and more into Panthers territory as he just runs over an Upper St. Clair Panther. Jason Sweeney pays the price as he gets trucked from the 45 to the 43.
Adam, and that is the starting quarterback for the Panthers, and that's not what you want if you're Jim Render in Upper St. Clair. Is your quarterback taking hits like that from Anthony Meredith?
1st and 10 for Woodland Hills. The ball in the center of the field at the 43-yard line of the Upper St. Clair Panthers. Receivers split to either side and a wing to the right. Hand off to the tailback, Meredith. Nice patience, and he'll drive his way forward to pick up a couple as Woodland Hills got a surge on that line of scrimmage. And Meredith slow to get to his feet. I think he's starting to get a little tired here on a hot, humid evening in Western PA.
Injury.
So Meredith will be tended to, and what we hope is this is a cramp, and that wouldn't be much of a shock in this circumstance. He's been going both ways most of the night. Add to that the heat and humidity that certainly has not ceased throughout this early portion of the 2018 football season.
Good to see him get back up at him.
Next week, Woodland Hills at home again, as they will host the Baldwin Highlanders conference matchup, and it'll be homecoming here at the Wolverena. Right now, Baldwin 2-1 on the season. Their lone loss came to these Upper St. Clair Panthers a week ago. So come on down to the Wolverena next week. 7 o'clock kickoff. It's homecoming. Come early, see the parade, and then make sure you're in the stadium for the Wolverines who try to surge back after a rough start to the season. High backfield. Handoff. Will Clark running right. Finds a crease. Driving his way forward. Finally brought down to the turf by Jason Sweeney, but not before picking up a handful of yards to the 37.
You know, Adam, Will Clark is able to get so low, and his vision, which you mentioned before, is so good. He's able to spot those holes and get that extra 3 or 4 yards that you wouldn't think would be fantastic, but it really is going a long way right now for the Wolverines. Also Clark, a very nice block by Savon Gibner. Excuse me, Adam.
Yeah, Clark 5'9", so he's also able to hide behind those pulling linemen just a bit and then burst free just at the last moment. Twins to left, straight drop back Stubbs, throwing left, and he will overthrow his intended receiver, Davion Rochelle, by a mile. Back in coverage was David Pantelis, but Davion Rochelle or Pantelis, neither of them, near the football.
Yeah, not sure Stubbs really even looked before he made the pass there. But nonetheless, Wolverines will be forced to punt. Although we could have seen him go for it here, but they're going to opt to punt. Coach Tim taking the conservative way here.
Yeah, 4th and 4 at the 37. Let's play some field position here.
Timeout. Upper St. Clair. First charge timeout of the half.
And with a timeout on the field, we'll step away to 5:53 to play in the second quarter. Woodland Hills on top of Upper St. Clair, 7-0. It's the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Life has its ups and downs. There are times when you or a loved one needs help. That's why you should know the name LGAR, Health and Rehabilitation Center. Located just minutes from the Monroeville Mall, the LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center has been known by locals for many years, and they excel in reputation, rehabilitation, recuperation, and residential living. The help and answers you need are just a phone call away at 412-825-9000. Also on the web at
Punt by Chucky Hanchett will carry into the end zone for a touchback. He's tried to get the reverse spin on it after a quick timeout by Upper St. Clair. And Woodland Hills will only pick up 17 yards on that punt net-wise after the punt by Hanchett covers 36 yards in the air and then bounces into the end zone.
Tough break there for the Wolverines and Chucky Hanchett, Adam.
So 1st and 10 for for Upper St. Clair, ball in the middle of the field. That's the first punt of the game for Woodland Hills as they turn the ball over on downs on their first possession, and then a touchdown by William Clark on their second. Sweeney's going to hand off. Orsini is met in the backfield by Michael Roman, and a big play in the backfield, a loss of 2.
Michael Roman, again, just like last week, involved in every single play, it seems. That time I don't think I saw Sidney Summers out there, maybe taking a breather for the Wolverines. But Michael Roman doing his job, just as always.
So 2nd down and a dozen for Upper St. Clair with the football back near the 18-yard line. Sweeney by himself, straight drop back off of the shotgun. He will throw it across the middle, and finally knocked to the turf is Nate Ripley, but not before picking up a first down for USC.
Yeah, he was wide open, Adam. Luckily, didn't get even more than that for the Panthers. Got the first down, which is unfortunate for the Greens, but they at least held him there. Didn't get any further.
Woodland Hills was bringing the house, and they were a step away from getting to the quarterback, but Jaden Lucas made the first contact on that play, and then Tavian Brooks made the ultimate stop. Handoff. Orsini hit hard, but keeps his balance and drives his way across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Lucas makes the tackle. Christopher Jones also in on the stop for Woody High, but it's a gain of 10, and it's 1st and 10.
Another favorable spot, I think, for the Panthers, Adam, as they just gave them that first down. Not quite sure he made it, but it would have been a 2nd and short anyway.
Yeah, the ball came down probably just shy of that 41-yard line, so maybe an 18-inch favorable spot for USC. Offset eye backfield this time behind Sweeney as he will hand off to Orsini, who bursts free, knocked down by Michael Coleman in Woodland Hills territory near the 46-yard line. They'll say he's down at the 46 and a pickup on that play of 13 yards.
Yeah, I still don't think I see Sidney Summers, Adam, and I hope he is not injured or dealing with cramps or something, because you can tell the Wolverines, I think, are missing him right now.
Clock under 4 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Woodland Hills up 7-zip. Power pistol. And a timeout taken.
Injury.
A Panther is shaken up. Orsini is the player for Upper St. Clair, who seems to be a bit winded at minimum, so he's going to come to the sideline at least for one play.
Taking as many carries as he is, Adam. That's understandable. Just needs a breather here with just under 4 minutes left in this first half.
Getting a message from the field, Rick McIntyre letting us know that Sidney Summers has returned to the lineup for Woodland Hills, and he's out on the field as we speak.
Very good news, Adam, because I think that success that the Panthers were having right there in those last couple plays on the ground can be stopped by Sidney Summers now that he is back in the game.
Summers talking with half-brother Caleb Brevard there. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Upper St. Clair with the ball at the 46. This the best drive offensively for USC today. Low snap as Sweeney runs right, and a flag before the snap, and we'll send it down to Tim Barker, see what he has to say.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense. 5 yards from the previous spot. Still, first down.
Loss of a handful there brings up 1st down and 15, and the ball now back in Upper St. Clair territory. This drive for the Panthers started at their own 20 with just under 6 minutes to play. And they've occupied about 2.5 minutes of clock thus far and have driven the ball to the Woodland Hills 46 before being pushed back by this flag. Sweeney brings the Panthers to the line of scrimmage, twins to either side. And Upper St. Clair is going to burn a timeout.
Timeout. Upper St. Clair. Charge timeout of the half.
Timeout on the field. We'll step away to Woodland Hills up 7-zip. It's the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Bush Brothers Car Care Center in Swissvale has been a Monongahela Avenue institution for over 30 years. Bush Brothers is a full-service mechanic and tire shop for all types of vehicles. Whether you need mechanical work, an alignment, state inspection and emissions testing, new tires, or just an oil change, Bush Brothers is the place for you. Bush Brothers Car Care Center, Monongahela Avenue in Swissvale, or give Martin and Jason a call at 412-351-5342.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Woodland Hills on top of Upper St. Clair, 7-zip, 3:06 to play second quarter. Panthers with the ball, 1st down and 10 at their own 49-yard line. This drive for Upper St. Clair starting at their own 20. Orsini had taken the ball out to the Woodland Hills 46-yard line before he came out of the game with an injury, and then a false start against Upper St. Clair pushed them back 5 yards. Now referee Tim Barker in a heated conversation with Jim Render.
Yeah, I don't get this, Adam. You know, I know he's had a very long career coaching, but those kind of things aren't allowed by many other coaches, to just have this long conversation on the field when you should be getting back to play on the field.
40-plus years and 400 victories sometimes gets you an extra minute with the officials, and the field here is named after George Novak, and I know there were times where he got the same courtesy. Backfield behind Sweeney as he will hand off on the end around to David Pantelis, who bursts free into Woodland Hills territory. Stiff arm, and then he'll be tossed out of bounds by Tavian Brooks. Pantelis brought out shy of the first down marker. Pickup of a dozen on that play brings up second down and about 3.
And they're still complaining on the sideline, as usual.
Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes, 52 seconds. 2:52, please. Thank you.
Another little mini timeout here for the Panthers on the sideline as they get that stoppage. They're able to talk things over. Another advantage for Jim Render.
So second down and 15 with the ball at the 39-yard line. Or rather, second down and 3 with the ball at the 39-yard line. Fumble. And it's still loose, and it's scooped by a Wolverine. Sweeney couldn't get the handoff cleanly off to his back, and then the Wolverines scooped it up. It's Jaden Lucas with the scoop. He was headed the other way. He was wrestled down by Orsini. A turnover by Upper St. Clair gives Woodland Hills the ball, 1st and 10 at the 44.
Yeah, just a huge break, Adam, for the Wolverines. That's really the first one of the night. Upper St. Clair's got a lot of calls going their way, but after their little mini timeout there from Jim Render, able to talk things over on the sideline, didn't help at all. Wolverines get the ball after the fumble, and hopefully they can go down the field here with 2 minutes and 44 seconds, get a quick score before the half.
How about those Wolverines getting in there, giving Lucas a couple extra yards out to the 44. Good teamwork there by Woody High. Pitch left, Clark running left, cuts it back inside, coming across the grain, first down. He's brought down at the 45, a pickup of 11.
Great run by Clark, great vision. Wolverine is down. I'm not sure who it is at the moment. Hopefully it's just another cramp.
Looks like it's Christopher Jones over there at the 45-yard line.
Thank you, Adam.
So he's going to get some water, get some stretch in. And hopefully he'll be back out there. That looks to be the case here as Christopher Jones being tended to by the athletic training staff. Nice pickup there by William Clark. And this 1-2 punch by Woodland Hills here against Upper St. Clair tonight really seems to be working. A little bit of the harder hitting running back in Anthony Meredith, and then the speed and vision of Clark has put together a couple of very nice offensive drives for Woodland Hills, including one scoring drive. And again, Woodland Hills is inside of Upper St. Clair territory.
Yeah, the Wolverines have been able to have some success on the ground, Adam. And now with Stubbs in at quarterback, you want to see if he can use his legs, maybe work in a little bit of an option. Not sure if they have that, but it would be nice to see something like that to give him the opportunity to get some yards on the ground himself.
Christopher Jones still being tended to. Let's send it down to Rick McIntyre. Rick, I know you've been keeping an eye not only on the situation with the Wolverines, but how do you think that they're faring considering the heat and humidity of tonight and them shuffling players in and out?
Yeah, I think they're doing a pretty good job so far tonight, getting some players some rest. I think that's why we saw Sidney Summers sitting out for a couple plays. Right before he checked in, he was bouncing up and down like a little puppy dog, begging to get in the game. They gave it to him. Next play, big turnover. So Woodland Hills, I think, is doing a good job maintaining.
Run left for Clark. Slides through a tackle, spins his way towards the line of scrimmage, ends up on his backside inside of the 45 at the 43-yard line for a pickup of 2, almost 2.5, as they'll spot the ball in between the 42 and 43-yard lines.
Almost caught in the backfield, Adam, but Clark able to slither out of that and get 2 yards for the Wolverines. Now approaching 2 minutes. You hope you see a little bit more of a sense of urgency here.
First drive, Woodland Hills turns it over on down. Second drive, a touchdown. They punt it on their third drive, and here on their fourth drive of the game, they're pushing the ball into Panthers territory as Clark spinning his way forward, whirling dervish style, finally brought down as he approaches the 38-yard line.
Yeah, Adam, another nice run by Clark, and hopefully they can maybe work in a little play action here to maybe just bring in all the Panthers defense, have them fooled, and go over the top to Rochelle or Lucas or Rawlings. We'll see what the Wolverines have to do here.
What a drastic difference this offensive line being at full strength is. Stubbs throwing right. Michael Coleman had gotten a step away from the defensive back down this near sideline, but the pass off the mark. Coleman couldn't get there. Sweeney on the coverage for USC. And it's 4th down and 3 for Woodland Hills. And again, Tim Bostard's going to send the punt unit out.
Interesting call here, Adam. I get playing it safe, but I would have liked to have seen the Wolverines take a chance, but we'll see how the punt works out.
Snap to Hanchett. Strong snap. Beautiful spiraling punt will be caught by a Wolverine smartly inside of the 9-yard line because that ball had so much momentum to it, it probably would have bounced into the end zone, but instead Tavian Brooks decided to catch it on the fly, headed towards him at the 9, backing Upper St. Clair up inside of their 10.
Very heady play, Adam. You see a lot of college players don't realize you can even do that when they try and down the ball and punts like that. Great job by Brooks to back the Panthers up inside their own 10 now is where they will start this drive with only 1 minute and 19 seconds. Hopefully the Wolverines defense is able to keep them out of the end zone.
Now we saw Upper St. Clair with their most successful offensive drive of the game on their previous possession before it was turned over on the exchange between Sweeney and Orsini. Sweeney under center with an eye backfield. Delay handoff, Orsini, he's met. Brought down at the line of scrimmage. Michael Roman in on the tackle for Woody High. Also in on the stop for the Wolverines is Anthony Collins.
Great job. Hopefully the Wolverines don't get sucked in on that if the Panthers opt to go with some play action and try and run over the middle. The middle field has been open for the Panthers tonight. We'll see if Render decides to keep it conservative and keep it on the ground here before the half.
Under 1 minute to play here in the second quarter. Woodland Hills up by 7. Upper St. Clair not in any hurry with the ball, 2nd down and 10 at their own 9. Sweeney with an offset eye backfield behind him. Receiver split to either side with the ball on the right hash. Handoff Orsini over right tackle. He'll be knocked to the turf by a pair of Wolverines, and on the stop, Taiwan Milton. Gain of about 4 brings up 2nd down and 6.
Like you said, I'm in no hurry. I think it seems like Render just wants to take this to the locker room down 7-0.
Under 20 seconds to play here, and Upper St. Clair, I don't know if they're going to have to snap the ball one more time or not. It really depends on when Tim Barker chopped the play clock in, and I think that he did so under 25 seconds to go on the game clock, and that is the case. So Upper St. Clair will head to the locker room satisfied with a 7-0 deficit against our host Wolverines here in Turtle Creek, Pennsylvania. So Woodland Hills takes a 7-0 lead into the locker room. We're going to be back with some halftime coverage here on the Woodland Hills Football Network. Absolutely good stuff here for Woodland Hills thus far. You're tuned in to the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Wolverine Football is also brought to you by the Triangle Bar and Grill, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, the law offices of Owen Seaman, Bush Brothers Car Care, the Barbers Inn in Swissvale, LG3 Entertainment, Web Landings, ABOS Opticians, Matthews Auto Service, and the Zubin Dental Associates. Now it's time for the Woodland Hills Football Network Halftime Show.
Woodland Hills on top of Upper St. Clair, 7-0. Adam Gusky, Eric Schuley on the call for you up here in the booth. Down on the field, Rick McIntyre has been joining us throughout the first half. And Eric, if you're a Woodland Hills fan, you've got to be happy with what Woodland Hills did through the first 24 minutes of football.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Adam. Based on what we've seen so far this year, this is a huge improvement. Some offensive struggles, obviously, with some false starts and some pre-snap penalties and unable to finish a drive or two. But having a 7-0 lead based on what's happened so far is huge for the Wolverines.
And I like the strategy by head coach Tim Bostard when they faced 4th downs inside of the Panthers' 40-yard line. Instead of going for it in that circumstance or even going for the fake punt and maybe giving Upper St. Clair decent field position, they opted to punt and they opted to push Upper St. Clair back. And it worked twice. Once because Upper St. Clair decided to take basically the knee to finish the half. The other time they moved the ball across midfield, but a fumbled exchange between quarterback and running back, and it was recovered by Woody High.
Yeah, you're right, Adam. I'm a gambler myself, but you're right. You can't deny it if it works, and so far it has worked. Coach Tim is trusting the defense, which has been great so far tonight. Guys like Sidney Summers, Caleb Brevard doing a fantastic job. Hopefully it continues and carries over into the second half.
Folks watching live on our television affiliates as well as on our Facebook page, or if you're listening live on the Trib Live High School Sports Network, stay tuned. You can watch and listen to the Woodland Hills and Upper St. Clair marching bands And we're going to be back shortly, if you're watching our replay, with more halftime coverage. Again, your halftime score is Woodland Hills 7 and Upper St. Clair 0. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Upper St. Clair Panthers on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
You're tuned in to Wolverine football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
It's halftime, and Woodland Hills leads Upper St. Clair 7-0 in Turtle Creek, Pennsylvania. Adam Gusky, Eric Shuley on the call for you here on the Woodland Hills Football Network, and down on the field it's Rick McIntyre. And Eric, before we went to the break here at halftime, Woodland Hills absolutely has got to be thrilled with the way the first 24 minutes of football went.
Exactly, Adam. Given that this is such a big conference game right now, this is pretty much a make-or-break game. You do not want to go 0-3 in conference, even though 16 teams out of the 24 in 5A make the playoffs, and your chances are still okay. If you lose this game, this is a huge game if the Wolverines can get it.
Number one, it's a huge game, and number two, I think it's a momentum builder for the rest of the season, because if Woodland Hills learns how to win in today's game against a tough opponent who's undefeated like Upper St. Clair, that really bodes well for weeks 4 and down the line.
Exactly. Coming up, Baldwin, and then a big game against West Allegheny. Huge game to get, and the Wolverines' defense has been fantastic, and we hope that carries over.
Our halftime coverage continues after we step away for a couple of minutes. Again, your halftime score, Woodland Hills on top of Upper St. Clair by a score of 7-0. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com. The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale is a proud sponsor of the Wolverines and has been serving the Woodland Hills community for nearly 3/4 of a century. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're gonna love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now. Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, with locations in East Pittsburgh and Turtle Creek, is a member of the Hall of Excellence of the National Funeral Directors Association. This reflects the same pursuit of excellence by our Woodland Hills football team, cheerleaders, marching band, students, staff, and faculty. For over 110 years, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home has been honored to serve local families and to be a proud partner of the Woodland Hills communities.
Life has its ups and downs. There are times when you or a loved one needs help. That's why you should know the name LGAR, Health and Rehabilitation Center. Located just minutes from the Monroeville Mall, the LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center has been known by locals for many years, and they excel in reputation, rehabilitation, recuperation, and residential living. The help and answers you need are just a phone call away at 412-825-9000. Also on the web at lgar.org. LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, a name you should know and a name you can trust.
You're tuned in to Wolverine football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
7-0 Woodland Hills on top of Upper St. Clair. Adam Gusky, Eric Shuley, Rick McIntyre on the call for you here on the Woodland Hills Football Network. Rick McIntyre now joins us from the field. And Rick, I know you said that the Wolverines were huffing and puffing headed into the locker room. Hopefully they've got some hydration in them and ready for the second half.
Yeah, I checked in at halftime. Everybody's got a water bottle in front of them. Everybody's taking it easy, resting. Nobody's up pacing around. They look pretty relaxed, pretty calm coming out here. It's going to be interesting to see if they can hold up this level of intensity and keeping this the defensive stand up that they've been going, keeping this Upper St. Clair team to 0 points.
Last time these two teams played was a year ago, and it was the final game of the regular season at Upper St. Clair, and Woodland Hills got that victory 9-7. Rick McIntyre and I were on the call for that one in an absolute great defensive football game in Upper St. Clair. And Eric, Woodland Hills, hopefully they can continue the defensive stand here in the second half and get some offense going.
Absolutely. Hopefully we can see those guys stay healthy, stay on the field, and not cramp. and maybe the offense get a little jolt too as well, and then give the Wolverines even more of a lead.
One final break before we get you set for the second half. Again, it's Woodland Hills 7, Upper St. Clair 0 at halftime. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
A-Boss Opticians on Braddock Avenue in Braddock is your one-stop optical shop. With hundreds of the latest frame styles and lenses, the skilled opticians at A-Boss will help select and fit the best eyewear option for you. Plus, A-Boss Opticians is the best eyewear repair facility in the area. No matter what your eyewear needs are, make A-Boss Opticians your opticians. Call A-Boss Opticians at 412-271-4424 or visit abossopticians.com.
Dawn and John at Matthews Auto Service have been serving the Turtle Creek Valley for over 40 years. In addition to being a full-service gas station, Matthews offers oil changes, state inspection and emissions testing, new tires, and light mechanical work. Matthews Auto Service, Monroeville Avenue in Turtle Creek, or call them at 412-824-0940.
Thanks for tuning in to the halftime show on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Woodland Hills Football is presented by State Senator Jay Costa. Wolverine Football is also brought to you by the Triangle Barn Grill, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, the law offices of Owen Seaman, Bush Brothers Car Care, the Barbers Inn in Swissvale, LG3 Entertainment, Web Landings, A-Boss Opticians, Matthews Auto Service, and the Zubin Dental Associates. Now it's time for the second half.
Second half, moments away from getting underway here in Turtle Creek, Pennsylvania. Adam Gusky, Eric Shuley, and Rick McIntyre on the call for you here on the Woodland Hills Football Network. Woodland Hills on top of Upper St. Clair 7-0 in this WPIAL 5A conference matchup. Woodland Hills glad to be at home after a couple of long trips down Route 19 to the South Hills to take on Bethel Park and Peters Township in weeks 1 and 2 after the week 0 loss here at the Wolverena to Woodrow Wilson out of Washington, D.C. And Woodland Hills deferred the choice after winning the toss in half number 1. So they've decided to receive to begin the second half. And Upper St. Clair will be kicking off left to right across your computer screen. We're back underway as this ball end over end down towards the 10-yard line, where it will be returned by Jay Smith. Smith across the 25, out across the 30 to the 40. To the far sideline, 50 as the flag is down way behind the play, 40 to the 35, and to the 33-yard line goes Jay Smith, but most of this one's probably coming back as there's a flag behind the play.
Holding on the receiving team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down, Woodland Hills.
Another tough one, Adam. One of those calls where, especially on kickoffs, there's lots of grabbing. And that one, again, goes the Upper St. Clair way. But the Wolverines hopefully can overcome that, as they did on their touchdown drive, and they were able to score in spite of some calls. Hopefully they can take this ball 85 yards to pay dirt.
This is the worst starting field position for Woodland Hills today, as they'll start this drive from their own 15-yard line. In the first half, they started at their own 44, their own 34, the Upper St. Clair 43, and the Woodland Hills 41. Still in a quarterback, Rodney Stubbs, as he'll hand off, and a Wolverine runs to the right-hand side. A flag down behind the play again, as Meredith is brought down near the line of scrimmage.
Wouldn't be surprised if it's another holding, Adam. Yep.
During the run, holding on the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still first out.
Well, Tim Barker's had his share of face time today, as there have been a lot of flags thrown. And that's the second time where we saw A flag thrown behind the runner. Stubbs under center, high backfield, ball near the left hash. Is a delay by Meredith, driving his way forward out across the 10 towards the 12-yard line, where he'll be driven to the turf.
Looked like the Panthers may have been through the line a little bit early there, Adam. It was hard to tell from our angle, but nonetheless, able to break out, get a few more yards for the Wolverines. It was Anthony Meredith.
Pickup of 5 after it was second down and about 17. Now it's second down and a dozen with the ball at the 13. Line to gain is the 25. High backfield, ball on the left hash. Stubbs looks right, throws right. The pass intended for Jaden Lucas is off the mark. Now Lucas had gotten some separation from Jason Sweeney, the defensive back, but the pass so far off the mark, Lucas couldn't get to it, and the incomplete pass brings up third and a dozen.
Yeah, definitely having trouble with those throws is Stubbs, and I think part of the reason is Lucas is so far out there. If they bring him in a little bit more, maybe it would be easier for Rodney Stubbs to make that pass.
So 3rd and 12, clock stopped, 11:53 to play, third quarter. Woodland Hills on top of Upper St. Clair. Ball left hash, 2 receivers to the short side left as the handoff is going to go to Meredith, and he'll drive his way across the 15 out towards the 16-yard line. And that brings up 4th down and 11.
Now you hope that penalty on the opening kick didn't take some life out of the Wolverines, Adam. It certainly did on that drive, but hopefully it didn't take any life out of them further down the road. Now faced with a 4th down, Chucky Hanchett takes a bad snap, and he's going to dive on it. Luckily, he's able to get on it and avoid the Panthers from picking it up for a touchdown, but it will be a safety for the Panthers. As the long snap troubles continue to haunt the Wolverines into the 4th week into the season.
So after the safety, Woodland Hills going to have to give the ball over to Upper St. Clair. Coach Bostard talking with Chucky Hanchett, telling him just fall on the football. And Chucky Hanchett now going to hear from kicking coach Scott Henderson.
The Panthers would have been thinking they would have let him run out of the end zone, I think. Get about to the 1 or 2 yard line, have the ball at the 1 or 2.
That's probably better.
Yeah, I think the Wolverines will take this with how the defenses have been playing. If they can continue that play, could keep this at only 2 points after that mini debacle for the Wolverines. Next week back here against the Baldwin Highlanders. Baldwin facing Moon tonight at Moon. Interesting game in the Allegheny 8 Conference.
So Chucky Hanchett's going to have to kick off from the 20-yard line. Woodland Hills, their lead cut from 7 points down to 5. And an end-over-end kick by Hanchett will be returned by Sweeney at the 25-yard line out to the 40, to the 45, where he's met and dumped down quickly by Sidney Summers. Down at the bottom of the pile for the Wolverines, Jaden Edmonds. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Upper St. Clair, the ball at the 45.
Able to contain Chris Pantelis there with the Wolverines, and that was very important because it looked like Jaden Edmonds for the Wolverines was getting held very, very badly.
Delay handoff for Orsini, the ball carrier, bouncing to the right-hand side. He's shoulder bumped out of bounds hard by Lucas.
Good blocking there for the Panthers, able to get that big chunk of yardage there for Orsini.
So Orsini picking up 7, brings up 2nd down and 3. Shotgun, quick handoff this time to Orsini. Gets to the line of scrimmage, and he'll be driven to the turf. Now the official on the near side seems to have a much more accurate spot than the official on the far side, and let's hope that the umpire spots the ball based on the official on the near side, which he will.
That's good, Adam, because you're right. The official on the far side is pretty much a whole yard ahead of the other official on the near side here. Looks like they kind of split the difference.
So 3rd down and 2. As Sweeney steps under center, pitches to the left-hand side. Orsini is driven down well shy of the line of scrimmage. Christopher Jones, Jaden Lucas, and Anthony Meredith all in there on the stop.
That was just a great play by the Wolverines. That pitch, they tried to do a little bit of a quick snap there to catch the Wolverines off guard, but that was not going to work. And that speed for the Wolverines just beat the Panthers, and they powered through, took Orsini down, and they're going to force him to punt here.
So the punt unit on for the Panthers on 4th down and 5 at the midfield stripe. Sweeney steps into a spiraling punt that'll be returned by Jay Smith. And Smith is going to be spun down as he crosses the 25 to the 26-yard line. And again, a tackle is made by Harvey Roush. Roush has made tackles defensively and special teams on multiple occasions tonight.
All over the field for the Panthers is Harvey Roush. And that was a key tackle because Jay Smith has some speed, as we know, and he would have been able to showcase it there had he been able to get out of that tackle.
.836 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Woodland Hills up a handful 7-2 on Upper St. Clair after the safety on the Woodland Hills punt.
Prior to the snap, offsides, defense, 5 yards from the previous spot, still 1st down.
So that's going to back Upper St. Clair up 5 yards. And it'll make it 1st down and 5 with the ball at the 31.
Looks like we're going to go right back to where we started, Adam.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5 yards from the previous spot, still 1st down.
More of the same stuff that we saw last week against Peters Township. Get a little bit of a break, and then you go back, give it right back to them on a false start after you got the offside call.
Hand off, running right, William Clark. He's got the 1st down and more. He picks up a dozen. The Wolverines needed just 10.
Just a great run by Will Clark. Able to get a bit of the edge and cut back up just in time when he had the hole and a big 1st down for Woodland Hills, moving the chains.
So a gain of 12 brings up 1st down and 10 for Woodland Hills. Jones motions from left to right as he'll settle, crabbing to the right. Looked like Jones may have been moving forward there as the snap was had, and Clark, a beautiful run, driving the pile all the way down inside of the 39, will be all for naught, and what in all likelihood is a pre-snap penalty against Woodland Hills for Jones going forward at the snap.
Prior to the snap, illegal shift on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still 1st down.
Wolverines have to fix these pre-snap penalties, Adam. Plays like that, which don't get blown dead, that proved to be very successful for the Wolverines. You come all the way back, and it's just very discouraging for the Wolverines to have to deal with that.
First and 15 for Woodland Hills with the ball at the 33-yard line. Line to gain is the 48. Stubbs throws, and it's intercepted by Sweeney, and he's off to the races inside of the 25 to 20, the 15 to the 10 to the 5, and into the end zone for a pick 6.
Exactly what the Panthers needed and exactly what the Wolverines did not need. It was a very odd play there for the Wolverines. Not sure what they were even trying to do on that pass. But after some very bad penalties for the Wolverines, Upper St. Clair takes advantage, and they're able to get the pick 6.
So the interception return for a touchdown. And the PAT is up and good, and Woodland Hills is now trailing Upper St. Clair by a score of 9-7 with 7:26 to play. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Woodland Hills football is brought to you in part by the law offices of Owen Seaman. Owen is a Woodland Hills alumnus who studied law at Duquesne University and has been practicing law in the Pittsburgh area for over 15 years. Attorney Owen Seaman's experience encompasses virtually every facet of criminal defense. If you find yourself in need of criminal defense representation, call Owen at 412-721-0412 or visit owenthelawyer.com.
You're tuned in to Wolverine football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
St. Clair quarterback Sweeney, also a defensive back for USC. The pass intended for Lucas, and then off to the races went Sweeney for the pick six to give Upper St. Clair their first lead of the game. Here comes Jay Smith on the kick return for Woodland Hills, trying to answer back. He'll cross the 30 to the 40 to the 50, inside of Panthers territory, finally brought down inside of the 45, near the 44.
Great return for Jay Smith. Exactly what the Wolverines needed to liven up this sideline after a really, really rough start there for the Wolverines. Some bad penalties and the pick six and the safety. It hasn't been good, but now is the chance to go 45 yards, get this ball in the end zone, and get the momentum back on the Wolverines side. And it looks like we have Gavin Judson now in a quarterback as well.
Last time we saw Stubbs enter the game here at the Wolverena, he turned the ball over and he was yanked quickly. Same circumstance here. Judson, he's going to hand off. It's Meredith, the ball carrier, trying to fade to his left-hand side. He'll pick up a pair of yards before being driven to the turf by a handful of Upper St. Clair Panthers. And again, amidst the tacklers is Harvey Roush.
Not much doing there. We'll see if maybe the Wolverines can get, I'd like to see Judson get in the shotgun, give him a little more time, a little more space. Maybe utilize a quick slant or a screen pass or something if you're under center, a screen pass.
So 2nd and 8 for Upper St. Clair. Hard count, and the fullback is drawn forward.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense. 5 yards from the previous spot. Remain 2nd down.
Looked like Bradley there in the fullback, and I'm not sure if he's really had much time of any at the fullback position. There's a lot of mixing and matching going on, Coach Tim, in this game. I think when you start 0-3, that's one of the things you do. You start experimenting, see what works for you.
Judson under center as we see Jones crabbing left to right. Handoff. Hesitation. Driving his way forward is Meredith. Meredith will pick up a couple, and that brings up 3rd down and 12.
Not much doing on the ground here, Adam, and they've only gone backwards since the drive started at the 45. Maybe they can utilize that size of a guy like Josh Rawlings, who has a big height advantage over any defensive back that the Panthers have.
Timeout by Woodland Hills head coach Tim Boster.
Timeout. Woodland Hills.
We'll step away
First
too.
charge timeout.
5:37 to play in quarter number 3. 9-7 Upper St. Clair on top of Woodland Hills. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com.
You're tuned in to Wolverine football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
3rd and 12 for Upper St. Clair. Or for Woodland Hills, rather, at the Upper St. Clair 47-yard line. Upper St. Clair on top of Woodland Hills 9-7 with 5:37 to play. Judson rolling left, pressured. He's wrapped, he's brought down, and another big play by Harvey Roush.
Not able to get rid of the ball. The routes that were being run really were not conducive to getting the ball out of Judson's hand quickly, which resulted in him backtracking, being sacked, and just everything going the Upper St. Clair Panthers' way right now.
So the punt unit has to come on for Woodland Hills, and the last time the punt unit was on, a mishap led to a safety for Upper St. Clair. Woodland Hills gave the ball back to the Panthers. They weren't able to do anything with it, but on the ensuing offensive drive for Woody High,
prior to the snap,
we'll check in
false
with the referee.
start.
5 more yards against Woodland Hills.
5 yards from the previous spot. Still 4th down.
And again, recapping the scoring here in the second half. A punt mishap on the snap to Chucky Hanchett led to a safety. Made it 7-2 Woodland Hills on the ensuing drive. Upper St. Clair punted it back to Woody High on the ensuing drive. As we again have a bad snap, Hanchett races it down. Gets off a beauty of a spiraling punt. It'll bounce in favor of the Wolverines and then roll back in favor of the Panthers. And it will be Upper St. Clair's ball at the 43-yard line. So that drive started at the 45, and Upper St. Clair will get the ball on the ensuing drive at the 44.
Yeah, that is extremely discouraging. A play like that, though, could have been a disaster. Hanchett able to get the punt, the snap, and get the punt off and start Upper St. Clair Panthers with good field position, but it could have been a lot worse. So good play by Hanchett. Able to collect himself and get off a good punt, given the situation.
(9-7) Upper St. Clair on top of Woodland Hills. They start this drive at their own 44. Orsini, the ball carrier's hammered as he crosses the line of scrimmage and brought down to the turf. Jeffrey Williams, among others, for the Wolverines, in on that stop. And Williams was the one who made the hard hit to make that tackle, bringing up 2nd down and 8 at the 46.
More penetration for the Wolverines, and defense has done a great job tonight, surrendering 0 points to the Panthers, all 9 points coming other ways.
Second down and 8. Pressure as the pass intended for Pantelis is incomplete. Pantelis was hit by Jaden Lucas the second the ball was in his hands, and the incomplete pass for Sweeney brings up 3rd down and 8.
Great play by Lucas there, but to make sure that ball was not brought in by David Pantelis.
It's the second time today where we saw Jaden Lucas separate a Panther from the football, and I think it was the same receiver, David Pantelis, on the 4th down bomb down to the goal line where he ripped the ball away from Pantelis. He does it there. He had the fumble recovery. He also has a reception on the day. A pretty decent day for Jaden Lucas thus far.
Definitely.
3rd and 8. Sweeney's pressured as he'll roll to his right-hand side. Wolverine had him around the ankle, but somehow Sweeney got away, threw it to the near sideline where Mateo Capulio was able to catch that football, and one-arm shiver by Michael Coleman pushes him out of bounds, but not before Upper St. Clair picks up the 1st down.
Could be a huge game-changing play there as the Wolverines are unable to get the stop. They get the pressure, but Sweeney's able to stay poised, come out of the pocket, and make a very nice pass, and Coleman was unable to have good enough coverage there. And 1st down for the Panthers.
Starting the pass, holding on the defense. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So you tack on 10 from the end of the play. So instead of 1st and 10 for Upper St. Clair at the 44, it'll be 1st and 10 for Upper St. Clair at the 34. Jim Render, the longtime head coach of Upper St. Clair, pacing the near sideline. Straight drop back for Sweeney. He's hit as he releases the football. The pass complete to the near sideline to Pantelis. And they'll say he was able to maintain the football to the ground and then lost it once he hit the turf.
Tough call there. It looked like the ball may have scored it free as he hit the ground. But Wolverines just have to have better coverage there.
Oh, yeah.
Ball did come loose.
Yeah, that doesn't look like that was sufficient for a reception.
Absolutely.
And if it were, it should be a fumble in that circumstance. Either way, Woodland Hills seems to have come up short on that end of the stick. And a handoff to the tailback, Orsini. And Michael Roman makes the tackle for Woodland Hills. But the offense rolling on this drive for the Panthers for the first time today.
Panthers up by 2. This is a key drive. You have to be able to stop them here and not let this game go to a 2-possession game. Although there's still 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter, time just goes by very quickly in these games.
And Upper St. Clair certainly doing their best not only to push the ball down the field on Woodland Hills on this drive, but they're chewing up a lot of clock in the process. Ball on the right hash, power I. Fullback Krabs to the left-hand side. Orsini, the ball carriers, met at the line of scrimmage and driven down. First player in the backfield was Anthony Collins. Down at the bottom of the pile, Anthony Meredith for the Wolverines.
More penetration for the Wolverines on from that defensive line. Able to stuff that play.
So Woodland Hills started their first drive of this second half at their own 15-yard line. A mishap with the punt snap led to a safety. Upper St. Clair punted it away on the ensuing drive. A pick 6 by Sweeney of the Panthers made it 9-7 Upper St. Clair. Woodland Hills punts, and that's how Upper St. Clair has the ball right now. Sweeney off of play action. Throwing it, and it's intercepted. Wolverines have it in the end zone. Christopher Jones brings it out of the end zone, and he'll step out of bounds on the 13-yard line, and a big takeaway by Woody High. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Woodland Hills at the 15.
Yeah, Tavion Brooks just made a great play there. That ball was overthrown, and Brooks was able to make the play, get the catch, and get a little return. Had he stayed in the end zone, it would have been a touchback, but you always like the Wolverines to take a chance to try and make a play. And you got some Upper St. Clair fans upset here, but they have had every break so far in this game, as it looked like Tavion Brooks may have had a bit of hands on Pantelis, but big break for the Wolverines. Now you got to take this ball down the field.
Well, that pass certainly wasn't going to be easily caught by the receiver, Pantelis, by any stretch of the imagination. And then we saw Tavion Brooks step out there and grab a hold of that one. I thought it was number 6, Christopher Jones. Instead, it was 8, Brooks, who had the INT, the big play. Clark, the running back for Woodland Hills, who has the lone touchdown for Woody High today, runs to his right, and he will pick up a yard before being driven back.
Not much doing there for Clark. We'll see if the Wolverines are able to get some other guys involved in this game. Clark and Meredith have done a great job in this game, but
injury.
You have other weapons that you would love to utilize in this situation.
William Clark shaken up.
Again, hopefully that is just a cramp. Looks like that is what we're dealing with here.
So 1:10 to play here in the third quarter. Woodland Hills on top of, or trailing Upper St. Clair 9-7. Woodland Hills took a 7-point lead into the locker room. Taking a look at the Woodland Hills schedule, the Wolverines losing the first 3 games of the season, 20-7 to Woodrow Wilson, 41-20 against Bethel Park. But Woodland Hills had cut that game to 26-20 before Bethel Park scoring 15 unanswered points to win that one in the fourth quarter. Peters Township defeating Woodland Hills a week ago, 20-0. Next week, Woodland Hills takes on Baldwin. Then the Wolverines take on West Day on the road. Then host the Kiski Cavaliers. Then, for the first time in a long time, they travel to Cranberry to take on Seneca Valley. And then the regular season wraps up with 2 conference matchups at Moon and then at home against Chartiers Valley. Taking a look at conference standings, Woodland Hills at the bottom of the conference with a record of 0-2 within conference play. Baldwin hasn't won a conference game, neither has Chartiers Valley, and Moon hasn't played a conference game yet. Motion man from right to left as the snap goes awry, intended for Rodney Stubbs, and Stubbs has to fall down on it. And no, he won't. It's scooped up by Upper St. Clair in the end zone for a USC touchdown. And again, an errant snap costs Woodland Hills points.
Yeah, this is just not getting any better. That one didn't even leave the ground, it looked like. It looked like it just all the way back to Stubbs. It was on the ground, and another huge miscue for the Wolverines, and they're just handing this game to Upper St. Clair.
So the snap awry, and it's fallen upon in the end zone by Upper St. Clair, and the PAT is up and in, and then a Wolverine runs into the kicker after the play is over. So Upper St. Clair is going to be able to kick this football 15 yards further upfield. We'll check in with our referee, Tim Barker, before we go away.
Good. Personal foul, roughing the kicker on the defense. 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Well, it's 16-7. Upper St. Clair on top of Woodland Hills. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale is a proud sponsor of the Wolverines and has been serving the Woodland Hills community for nearly 3/4 of a century. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're gonna love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Trails Upper St. Clair 16-7 as the Panthers have ripped off 16 straight points in the third quarter to take this lead on Woodland Hills. We'll send it down to the field where Rick McIntyre gives us an idea of what it's like on the sideline.
Thank you, Adam. Yeah, it's mercurial to say the least over here. The big interception, everybody gets up, a couple big plays. Penalty draws it back, it's up and it's down, and when you're already kind of gassed, that just kind of accentuates everything and really just drains all the energy right out of you.
A couple of defensive touchdowns for Upper St. Clair, costing Woodland Hills. And this ball will roll out of bounds, and that's good news for Woodland Hills on one hand and not great news on the other. The good news is that the football rolls out of bounds, so Woodland Hills will get the ball without having to worry about a return. The bad news is after the penalty, the ball will not be placed at the 35, I don't believe. I believe it's 25 yards from where the ball was kicked.
Looks like they're unsure as well, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, from what I remember, from the spot of the kick, it's 25 yards from there. That's where the ball should be placed, and that's what the referee, Tim Barker, is talking with over there on the far sideline. And they're going to spot the ball at the 35-yard line. So Woodland Hills, the beneficiary of what may have been a mistake here.
We'll take it because they have had many breaks, the Panthers have tonight.
Now Tim Bostard talks with the official over there, and now we'll check in with Tim Barker.
The ruling on the field is a free kick out of bounds. The ball will be placed 5 yards from the spot of the kickoff. Re-kick.
Okay, now that's a smart decision by head coach Tim Bostard because his two decisions are accept the penalty, taking it 25 yards from the spot of the kickoff, which put that ball at the 20-yard line, or back Upper St. Clair up 5 more yards and force them to re-kick and take the chance of one of your speedy guys getting a return.
Yeah, we've actually seen that in the past when Woodland Hills, who's maybe been struggling in special teams have done that, decline the penalty to force the Wolverines to kick sometimes, and we've seen it, and now it's used against us.
So Upper St. Clair is going to kick this ball off from the 50 instead of the 45 after the penalty against Howells on the PAT. Now the scoreboard reads 16-7. Upper St. Clair on top of Woodland Hills. Woodland Hills had the momentum heading into the locker room, but the Panthers seized it surely after a couple of defensive big plays for the Panthers. Anthony Meredith on the return for Woody High across the 20, across the 25, and out to the 29-yard line. So after the penalty, Woodland Hills is going to end up picking up about 9 yards on that return by Meredith, setting them up first and 10. They're going to stay at the 30, so it'll be ultimately a pickup of 10 on that penalty, pushing the ball to the 50-yard line.
And with only 48 seconds remaining in the third quarter, this is an absolutely key drive for the Wolverines. You have to take this ball down the field and get in the end zone so you can force Upper St. Clair to have to really, really play hard in this last fourth quarter to hold their lead.
Handoff, Meredith running right, hesitating, driving his way forward. He'll pick up a handful out towards the 35, maybe the 36, as one of the defenders loses a lid. And he's going to have to come off the field for a play.
Number 23 must leave the game for one play. Helmet off.
The pickup of 6 on that run by Meredith. And Woodland Hills has the ball, 2nd down and 4 at the 36. Judson back in at quarterback after Stubbs was in on the previous drive when the snap rolled through his legs and into the end zone. And this another low snap. Handoff to Meredith. He cuts it back 40 to the 45 to the 50. Still on his feet inside of Panthers territory and just lost the football. It popped loose and it's caught in the air by Chris Pantelis. He'll be brought down at the Panthers 42-yard line. And Woodland Hills offensive mistakes turning into big plays for Upper St. Clair here in the 3rd quarter. And USC has the ball again after the Wolverines give it away.
Another positive play developing for the Wolverines. Looked like Meredith may even take that to the house. He's tracked down, which would have been a great run, but then the ball slips loose and it goes into the hands of the Upper St. Clair Panthers. They have been the beneficiary of everything in the second half. It has been completely opposite from the first half.
So Upper St. Clair will start this drive with 6.5 seconds to go at their own 43. Handoff to Orsini.
It'll be too many men.
Fly before the snap.
Before the ball was snapped, illegal substitution. Defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still 1st down.
Yeah, Wolverines were not ready for that. After the turnover, defense obviously wasn't ready. Had too many guys on the field, and it's going to cost them.
So instead of 1st down and 10 from the 43, it's 1st and 5 from the 48 now. Four and a half seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter. And flags before the snap again.
Prior to the snap, encroachment. Defense. 5-yard penalty results in the 1st down.
So 2 penalties, and Upper St. Clair goes from their own 43 to the Woodland Hills 47 without snapping the football on a legal play.
This has to be the most penalties Wolverines have had all season. It just doesn't seem to have any end in sight.
Couple that with the offensive miscues, and things have not gone well here in the 3rd quarter. Runner for Upper St. Clair is David Pantelis. He's brought down.
The end of the 3rd quarter.
After a gain of about 2 on the final play of the 3rd quarter, we head to the 4th frame with Woodland Hills trailing Upper St. Clair 16-7. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Serving the Turtle Creek Valley and neighboring Woodland Hills communities for over 110 years. Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home now offers crematory services at their Turtle Creek location. Families choosing cremation can have added peace of mind knowing that their loved one never leaves the care of Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home and that their crematory is used exclusively for the families they serve.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Set to begin quarter number 4. Upper St. Clair scoring 16 unanswered points in the 4th quarter, and none of them offensively, Eric Shuley.
Yeah, Adam, it has been a half full of struggles for Woodland Hills all over the place. You name it, and they've been struggling there, and that's just tough. You know, as Rick said, they obviously are gassed and tired, but coming out of the half, you're supposed to have a little bit of energy back up, and it just didn't go that way. A couple miscues, and Upper St. Clair is taking advantage here in the second half.
Speaking of Rick McIntyre, let's send it down to the field, talk with Rick. And Rick, what's it like on that Woodland Hills sideline?
Sorry, I didn't quite have the mic ready for you there.
It's okay.
The frustration level down here is pretty much palpable. Again, every time we get a step forward, we seem to give ourselves 3 steps back.
2nd down and 8 as the snap is low, and Michael Roman makes the big play in the backfield. And that's the second time we saw Sweeney brought down in the backfield by Michael Roman.
Definitely a good play for the Wolverines there. Unfortunately, the ball bounced right back to Sweeney, and he was able to pick it back up, but hopefully this will allow the Wolverines to contain the Panthers here and stop them from getting anything extra. It's taking a long time to start that play clock, as several Panthers over there talking to Coach Jim Render.
Clock winding towards 11:20 to go here in the fourth quarter. Upper St. Clair scoring 2 defensive touchdowns. Add to that the safety as Sweeney boots this one away. On the third down pooch punt, the Wolverines retreat and scoop it up. And we got a Wolverine over there with the football. And he will be brought down across the 25. On the return, Tamar Manson Dean for Woodland Hills.
Yeah, good play for the Panthers there. Figure on a 3rd and long. You got a nice 9-point lead here. There's no reason to risk it, an interception or something. So they decide to just do the little pooch punt, and they flip the field, and Wolverines are going to have to go a long way to score here.
Woodland Hills needs to score here to regain some momentum. Now, the good news is Upper St. Clair's offense hasn't been able to put any points on the board. The bad news is their defense has taken balls away from Woodland Hills and turned them into points for the Panthers. And Judson here, pressured, wrapped, and sacked. Brought down from behind by Ethan Heister.
Another low snap, and he's able to bring it up, and right when he gets the snap back up to where it should be, there's pressure in on him. And he doesn't have much help back there. It would be nice maybe to see a couple backs be back there in the days of Miles Sanders and Joel Shaw, 2 running backs, one to the left, one to the right. Something like that to maybe give him some extra blocking in the backfield.
Loss on that play of 7 yards brings up 2nd down and 17 back at the 11. Handoff, Clark pushes his way forward as a flag comes in and a pancake block by a Woodland Hills offensive lineman. Now, I'd love to see this one again because it looked like just a clean pancake block, at least from my vantage point. But the officials are going to say it's holding against Woodland Hills instead.
During the run, holding on the offense. Half the distance from the spot of the foul. 2nd down.
Let's take a look here, see what the case was. Because Clark had a decent run, and there was a beautiful pancake block, and yeah, there was a little shirt collar grab there by the Woodland Hills center. That's the 2nd or 3rd time today where we see the Wolverine center, Angelo Hodge, guilty of a hold, and that one probably was the most consequential hold towards the play. Low snap again. Judson spinning out of pressure, driving his way forward. He'll get out to the 10-yard line, so it'll be a pickup of 2 there, as he eludes the pressure, and that brings up 3rd and long.
And the Panthers are just in on him right away. It's almost like the line isn't even there. It's very unfortunate. He has no time to pass and unable to get rid of the ball and not creating a favorable situation at all for the Wolverines right now, backed up at their own 10-yard line.
Upper St. Clair scoring a safety on a punt snap mishap, and then a pick 6 by Sweeney, and then a fumbled snap by Rodney Stubbs. Actually, it was an errant snap that Stubbs couldn't scoop up, and it was recovered in the end zone by USC. And now Judson, he's pressured so badly as he drops back, he just decides to fall down at the 1-yard line, basically to try to avoid a safety in that circumstance.
He was not expecting that snap, Adam. As you can see on this replay, he was not ready for it at all. It was an early snap, and that just created a problem. After that, he's able to hold on to it, luckily. But as he goes down at the 1, and we know the Wolverines have had problems in situations like this. We'll see what happens.
Well, at least he was able to catch the snap and fall down upon it, basically. So 4th and a mile. Good snap. Hanchett gets away the best punt he possibly could in that circumstance. And it'll roll towards the sideline and be downed by Michael Roman at the 36. So a punt of 36 yards.
Adam, this is certainly going against the grain so far as what we've seen in the past. In 9 games since 2003, Woodland Hills is 7-2 against Upper St. Clair, outscoring them 240-138. And last year, as you mentioned, we saw them beat Upper St. Clair at Upper St. Clair 9-7. this has been a similar game, a defensive battle, but a lot more miscues by Woodland Hills tonight.
I remember a couple of years back, you're talking about that point differential between Woodland Hills and Upper St. Clair. A few years back, Woodland Hills gave Upper St. Clair their worst home loss in program history.
Yeah, I believe that was 48-0, Adam. I believe that game's what you're talking about in 2014.
Handoff up the gut, the fullback taking the carry for the first time today, and Ryan McKeever. And McKeever is brought down after a 9-yard gain.
That's a play we've seen Woodland Hills run many times in the past. A little quick give to the fullback.
Jaden Lucas on the stop for Woodland Hills because McKeever had a lot of greenery in front of him and just Will Clark between he and the goal line. Second and 1, high backfield. One receiver split to either side. Handoff Orsini, he's hit hard by Michael Roman. And Orsini won't get to the line of scrimmage, let alone to that first down flag.
One of those situations where if you're Upper St. Clair, you're just glad that Orsini held on to that ball. He was rocked by Michael Roman, but he was able to hold on to it, and that was key for Upper St. Clair.
Clock winding, 7 minutes and 20 seconds to play in regulation. Third down and 2 for Upper St. Clair. Ball at the Woodland Hills 28-yard line. The line to gain just inside of the 27. Handoff Orsini running right. He'll be undercut in the backfield. Knifing through, making the play is Anthony Meredith.
Just a great play by the defense again, Adam. It's been all night, and a little bit of extracurriculars there. Looked like maybe Queen Murray for Upper St. Clair pushing down DeJuan Howes after the play, but referees looking the other way as they have been all night.
Now, I will tell you what, I give DeJuan Howes a lot of credit because he did get dumped down there near the end of the play, away from the play. The umpire was near the play, didn't throw the flag, but Howes didn't retaliate. He just had something to say to the official about it, which was a heady play by the junior lineman. 4th and 3, Panthers with the offense on the field. Straight drop back, Sweeney. Pressured, rolling right. Now he'll throw it across the middle. It's intercepted. A Wolverine has it. Here he comes across the 30. Up towards the 35-yard line where William Clark is finally brought down. Clark with an INT to go along with a TD today.
Not much of a difference there from where the ball would have been had he knocked it down, but he got a few extra yards, so that worked out well for the Wolverines, and now is the best time of any. If you're going to get back in this game with only 6 minutes and 16 seconds left, you have to drive this ball down the field quick here, Adam.
Now, you can't blame Clark because when he caught this ball, had he not stumbled, he probably would have picked up more yardage, but he did stumble a bit. That allowed Upper St. Clair to converge, and he only ended up picking up a net of about 2 or 3 yards. He probably would have picked up 7 or 8 net yards after the INT had he not slipped. And now Clark is the setback to the left of quarterback Judson, twins to either side. Judson looking left, throwing left. The pass complete to Jaden Lucas, his second catch of the game. He'll slide through the first tackle and drive his way forward out towards the 40-yard line before he's brought down by Ethan Heister.
Yeah, great catch by Lucas. Nice throw by Judson. Got it out of his hands quick. Didn't have to worry about the pressure there. Now hopefully maybe see the Wolverines go over the middle a little bit more. Maybe utilize a quick slant, something we saw a couple years ago the Wolverines used with Auburn Abramovitz for a touchdown in the waning minutes against Moon. Something similar would be huge here to utilize the Wolverines' speed.
Judson catches a snap on his left knee. Pass complete. Clark slides away from tacklers, still on his feet, 50. Into Panthers territory, and he'll step out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Big pickup there as Judson finds the outlet out of the backfield in William Clark.
Great job by Will Clark. Looked like that could have been taken down right away as he made the catch, but he was able to slip out of a few tackles and get a nice big gain and put the Wolverines in a position where it's make or break right here with 5.5 minutes remaining in the game.
William Clark, Jaden Lucas, Michael Roman, all right now candidates for our State Senator Jay Costa Players of the Game. They have all had pretty decent football games for the Black and Turquoise today. Woodland Hills down by 9 with 5.5 minutes to go. Judson in the shotgun, sidecar to his right, twins to either side. Judson looks left, throws left, and the pass is caught. It's Josh Rawlings on the far side. First down and more. He'll run through a tackle, and he'll go out of bounds inside of the 25 at the 24-yard line.
And there's Josh Rawlings with that height advantage, as we talked about earlier. This is something that the Wolverines could be doing all the time. You're rarely going to find defenses with defensive backs who are able to cover a guy like Josh Rawlings at 6'5", 6'6".
Now, Rawlings listed at a tight end, but when he splits out at that 6 feet 5 inches tall, you add to that his strength to be able to run through a tackle like he does here on Sweeney. That's a rare combination at the high school level at the receiver spot. Twins right, one receiver to the short side left as the ball's in the left hash, and Judson's in the shotgun, and he'll hand off to William Clark, who hesitates, drives his way forward, and the umpire loves his flag so much he decides to throw it on the field again.
I think I can take a guess that it will be holding.
Well, the umpire indicated that to a referee, Tim Barker.
On the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the flag. First down.
Quite demoralizing to see this happen again and again and again for the Wolverines when you know Upper St. Clair is having some similar things, but I think they've only had about 2 penalties today, maybe a false start and an offside. So there's that Jim Render advantage coming in again, if you ask me.
And again, it was Angelo Hodge, the center, who hooked his defensive tackle, who he was scooping out on. He just grabs him around the neck, and that's the same play that happened earlier. This time, Judson rolls to his right-hand side looking for Jaden Lucas on first down and 19. Now it's second down and 19, and the aforementioned Angelo Hodge is shaken up. So Hodge being tended to by the athletic training staff. Just under 5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Woodland Hills trailing Upper St. Clair by a score of 16-7. We're going to step away for a second, or no, it looks like Hodge is going to be able to get to his feet and get to the sideline, which is probably decent news for him, but can't put a whole heck of a lot of weight on that left leg. And you know, it's a difficult circumstance when you lose an offensive lineman, period, but it's a little harder when it's your center. And you add to that, you know, Woodland Hills has been pretty shallow along the offensive line throughout this season. And you've got to wonder, do they have a versatile set of linemen, maybe 6 or 7 linemen, or do they have to bring in a true backup center in this circumstance?
We will see. I think Jameer Omer may come in, number 56 for the Wolverines. He has been playing some center so far in the year for the Wolverines. We'll see if he is the replacement.
Second down and 19 is the pass to a wide open Jaden Lucas down the far sideline and into the end zone for a Woodland Hills touchdown. The big catch for Jaden Lucas.
Definitely some miscommunication there for the Panthers, and the Wolverines see it and take advantage of it. I think that is where the headiness of Gavin Judson comes in. I think he saw that and he went right to it. Why not? Because he was wide open.
Yeah, great throw, good catch. As the throw was on his back hip, and Lucas into the end zone for a Woodland Hills TD. And all of a sudden, we've got ourselves a 3-point football game, a PAT here by Chucky Hanchett. We'll make it a 2-point game. Holder, Lucas. Kicker, Hanchett. Good snap, good hold, kick up, and that kick is good. And with 4:42 to play in regulation, Woodland Hills trails Upper St. Clair 16-14. Tuned into the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Life has its ups and downs. There are times when you or a loved one needs help. That's why you should know the name LGAR, Health and Rehabilitation Center. Located just minutes from the Monroeville Mall, the LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center has been known by locals for many years, and they excel in reputation, rehabilitation, recuperation, and residential living. The help and answers you need are just a phone call away at 412-825-9000. Also on the web at lgar.org. LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, a name you should know and a name you can trust.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Touchdown pass from Gavin Judson to Jaden Lucas, covering 33 yards, puts Woodland Hills within 2 points over the upper St. Clair Panthers, who ripped off 16 unanswered in quarter number 3. Kickoff down to the 1 yard line where David Pantelis is on the return for the Panthers, and he'll be swallowed up by a pair of Wolverines, or a trio of Woody High players at the 19. They'll give him the 20, actually, or it'll be first down and 10 for USC.
And this is where the defense, who has been playing great all night, they have to come up with a big stop. A 3 and out or a turnover would be huge for the Wolverines if they're able to make that happen here.
High backfield, tight end, and the handoff will go to the fullback as the tight end was to the right of the formation, and the ball carrier Brandon Shearer.
Luckily, the Wolverines only had 10 out there, and Adam, the ref, did not notice.
Doesn't matter if you have 10.
Oh, I thought that was even. Oh, okay. Like, you thought you couldn't have 10 guys on the field.
You can have less.
Okay.
Less is way better than more.
Yeah. Still not good, though, because you have one fewer guy on the field.
That is correct.
Yeah. Didn't hurt him, though.
And Upper St. Clair is certainly going to kill some clock here on this drive as the handoff. Orsini, he's wrapped, he's brought down by Caleb Brevard.
Defense doing what they have to do right now, and they need a stop on this crucial 3rd down to force the Panthers to punt. Coming up on 3.5 minutes left in this game.
They'll pick up on that play of 4 yards for Orsini after Brevard makes the stop, and it's 3rd and 5 for USC. Ball at their own 25 with 3 minutes and 15 seconds on a winding clock. Ball on the left hash, receiver split to either side, and high backfield. Play action. Sweeney. He's wrapped, he's brought down. DeJuan Howell's in there, also Anthony Meredith, and a big play in the backfield by Woodland Hills.
Huge for the Wolverines, exactly what they needed. Would have loved to see them be able to strip that ball free, but we'll take what we can get, as it will be a 4th down situation where the Panthers have to punt. And the clock is still rolling, getting down to about 2.5 minutes, very close here.
That delayed blitz by Anthony Meredith made the guard have to make a decision on Howells or Meredith. He decided to disengage from Howells and pick up Meredith in that circumstance, and then Howells broke free, got the initial contact, and now Upper St. Clair is guilty of having too many men on the field.
Illegal substitution. Offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. 4th down.
Another one of those penalties that you cannot miss. The guy's running off a man running off the field late after they broke the huddle with 12 men on the field.
Folks watching our television broadcast, you can see the Woodland Hills center, Angelo Hodge, over at that training table. And they have some crutches out for him. The punt away, and Jay Smith will be on the return for Woody High. He hesitates, then breaks free inside of the 30, spinning his way forward down towards the 28-yard line as a flag is going to come out 9 minutes after the play is over, and I think that's because an Upper St. Clair player is shaken up on the peel black block, and the blindside block has become illegal in football. In my day, it was clean as a whistle, but today it's not. And my issue is not necessarily that they throw the flag, but how long it took them to decide to throw the flag.
Yeah, exactly. That flag came out way late. There was also a penalty thrown right at the snap. So we'll have to see how they work this out, and we'll see maybe if the first one was on Upper St. Clair, maybe these penalties cancel out, and we'll see a re-kick, see what happens.
You know, and it's tough for, some of the old football heads to kind of adjust to the new game with peel back blocks, blindside blocks no longer being part of the game. And, it's something that I've had to adjust to, but, being involved in sports so intimately at this point, I understand the reason why. I mean, the post-concussion syndromes that these guys have for years and years, and now the, discovery of CTE, I understand why these things occur.
Yeah, absolutely, especially at the high school level. Trying to limit those type of plays is crucial to the health of these young boys.
Well, the Panther that's shaken up is Ethan Heister, and like we said, there's a couple of flags down on the field. Let's see if Rick McIntyre can give us an idea of what the circumstances are before we hear from after we hear from our official.
We have 2 fouls on the play. Illegal formation on the offense. Personal foul, illegal blindside block on the receiving team. Both fouls will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down, Woodland Hills.
So what they do here in this circumstance, they'll march off 5 yards one way and then 15 the other way, so it'll end up being a 10-yard loss on the play for Woodland Hills. Instead of them having the ball at the 29, it'll be the 39. Let's send it down to Rick on the field now.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. I think the ref kind of cleared that all up for us, but on a quick note, a nice 33-yard touchdown pass we saw a couple minutes ago. I spoke with number 9 as he came off, and that was not a called play. Saw him not covered, made the audible play at the line of scrimmage.
Good job by Gavin Judson there to lead to a Woodland Hills TD, and now it's Anthony Meredith, the ball carrier, bursting free, dragging tacklers, picking up the first down inside of the 30 at the 28-yard line.
And now that is the ball security is key here, Adam, as you're breaking into the 30-yard line. You're getting closer and closer to the field goal range of Chucky Hanchett.
Clock under 2 minutes to play now. Woodland Hills with the football, first down and 10 at the 28 with 1:45 to go. Judson takes the snap, hands it off out of the shotgun. No, he's going to run to the left all by himself. Judson, first down and more, inside of the 15, out of bounds he goes at the 13-yard line.
Just a great play. There's that option, Adam. He had that run pass option. He took the run. He held the ball. All the Panthers were sucked into the run. With Meredith, he kept it, tucked it, and got a big first down run for the Wolverines.
Rick McIntyre, our sideline reporter, and the athletic director, Ron Comer, down there had a bird's eye view of what was going on there as Judson raced to that far boundary. And Rick, you got out of the way quick.
Yeah, actually, I kind of jumped right in front of Mr. Danny Esper here on the camera, trying to make sure he didn't get wiped out.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense. 5 yards from the previous spot. Still first down.
Well, that's rough for Woody High. That's going to back him up from 1st and 10 at the 13 to 1st and 10 with the ball back at the 18-yard line. Now, the good thing about that previous play by Judson, even with the penalty, is he got out of bounds. So that stops the clock, and the clock doesn't roll again until the next ball is snapped. 1:36, clock stopped. Woodland Hills down 2, but the Wolverines in the red zone. Handoff, hesitation, Meredith, he's free, he's inside of the 10, he's down towards the 5-yard line. They'll say he's down at the 7 with a big pickup of 11 yards, bringing up second down and very manageable.
You can see how much Anthony Meredith wants this win right now. Same thing with all the Wolverines, playing their hearts out till the end, trying to get this ball into the end zone.
Pulling guard from the left side blocked 2 Panthers to spring Meredith free on that run. Second down and 4 with the ball at the 7. The snap low, Judson scoops it up. He'll dive past back towards the line of scrimmage. He'll get back to the 9 before he's brought down with a minute to go, and head coach Tim Boston wants to take a timeout. So we'll take 1-2 with 59.3 seconds to play. Woodland Hills threatening, down by 2. It's the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Bush Brothers Car Care Center in Swissvale has been a Monongahela Avenue institution for over 30 years. Bush Brothers is a full-service mechanic and tire shop for all types of vehicles. Whether you need mechanical work, an alignment, state inspection and emissions testing, new tires, or just an oil change, Bush Brothers is the place for you. Bush Brothers Car Care Center, Monongahela Avenue in Swissvale, or give Martin and Jason a call at 412-351-5342.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Just under a minute to play in the fourth quarter. Second down and 6 for Woodland Hills with the football just inside the 9. The line to gain is near the 3-yard line. Woodland Hills threatening here, down by 2 points. Judson, he's going to hand off, and the tailback, Meredith, has nowhere to go as he will get to the center of the field, and that may make things a little easier for Chucky Hanchett to kick a field goal here. And I think head coach Tim Bostert may use as much time as possible in this circumstance and then call a timeout, and then bring the field goal unit on.
I think that is what he will do, Adam.
Timeout. Upper St. Clair.
Heady play by the veteran head coach, Jim Render, to use the timeout in that circumstance. So if Chucky Hanchett makes this field goal, his offense has a little bit of time to work with. So Upper St. Clair has not scored an offensive point today. All their points coming in the third quarter. A mishap with a punt snap led to their first 2 points of the game, making it 7-2 Woodland Hills. After Woodland Hills gave the free kick over to Upper St. Clair, the Panthers punted. Woodland Hills threw an interception that was returned for a touchdown by Jason Sweeney. That made it 9-7 Upper St. Clair. The Wolverines punted. Upper St. Clair threw an interception. On the ensuing drive, a fumbled snap led to another Upper St. Clair defensive touchdown. As the snap intended for Rodney Stubbs rolled into the end zone and USC covered it up. Here's Chucky Hanchett for the field goal. 34.9 seconds left. It's a 27-yarder, maybe a 28-yarder. Good snap, good hold. Kick up, Hanchett's field goal spinning. Oh, it's no good. Oh, no.
No good. Touchback.
That's rough for the Wolverines.
Yeah, there's a great comeback by Woodland Hills, but unable to get that field goal and get this game under their belts. Tough break for the Wolverines.
It was a decent snap, and Lucas got the hold down, and it looked like maybe a Panther got a paw on the ball because the ball was spinning instead of going end over end or even knuckling towards the goalpost. And we're getting word from the sideline that it was partially blocked. Actually, Rick McIntyre now texts me and says he actually heard a hand hit the ball as it came out of there. And it looks like it's one of the linemen who came through the middle who got a hand on it, changing the trajectory and making the ball fall short. Upper St. Clair will take the knee, and the clock will wind down to zeros, and Woodland Hills will fall to 0-4 for the first time in program history. And it's not for lack of effort by Woodland Hills by any stretch of the imagination.
No, they showed a lot of heart tonight, especially at the end, and just fell short. And if you're Upper St. Clair and Jim Render, you cannot be happy with your game, really. Everything that they gained from this game was because of what Woodland Hills gave them. They did basically nothing offensively, Upper St. Clair, and they were able to benefit from a lot of miscues from Woodland Hills. And the other thing was, as we know, I think it was 3 flags on Upper St. Clair the whole game, and Woodland Hills just couldn't have enough in the end to get the field goal and get the win.
Again, your final score, 16-14, Woodland Hills falls to the Upper St. Clair Panthers, and the Wolverines fall to 0-4 on the season, while Upper St. Clair is now 4-0 on the year. We're going to step away for a couple of minutes. When we return, post-game coverage here on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com. The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale is a proud sponsor of the Wolverines and has been serving the Woodland Hills community for nearly 3/4 of a century. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're gonna love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now. Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, with locations in East Pittsburgh and Turtle Creek, is a member of the Hall of Excellence of the National Funeral Directors Association. This reflects the same pursuit of excellence by our Woodland Hills football team, cheerleaders, marching band, students, staff, and faculty. For over 110 years, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home has been honored to serve local families and to be a proud partner of the Woodland Hills communities.
Life has its ups and downs. There are times when you or a loved one needs help. That's why you should know the name LGAR, Health and Rehabilitation Center. Located just minutes from the Monroeville Mall, the LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center has been known by locals for many years, and they excel in reputation, rehabilitation, recuperation, and residential living. The help and answers you need are just a phone call away at 412-825-9000. Also on the web at lgar.org. LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, a name you should know and a name you can trust.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Woodland Hills falling to Upper St. Clair 16-14 in a very hard-fought football game, and you can see the emotion on some of the players in that team huddle as head coach Tim Bostard addresses his team after by far the toughest loss of the year by the Woodland Hills Wolverines. Woodland Hills was up 7-0 at halftime. Upper St. Clair scored 16 unanswered points in the third quarter. The Wolverines struck back in the fourth quarter, made it a 2-point game. Woodland Hills drove all the way down inside of the Upper St. Clair 10-yard line, weren't able to punch it in, so they go for a field goal. And Chucky Hanchett's 28-yard field goal was partially blocked and didn't have enough oomph on it to carry over the crossbar, and Woodland Hills ends up falling to the Upper St. Clair Panthers by a score of 16-14. Adam Gusky, Eric Schuley, and now Rick McIntyre joining us up here in the booth as Woodland Hills falls in a very, very tough football game here in Turtle Creek, Pennsylvania. And, Eric, this is as tough of a loss as Woodland Hills has faced all season long and probably in a very long time.
Yeah, the Wolverines faced a lot of adversity tonight, Adam and Rick, and they did everything they could at the end and had a couple miscues, obviously, throughout the game and at the end of the game especially, and so did Upper St. Clair on the touchdown pass. Nobody was there on the nice run by Judson. Nobody was looking for it, but they just weren't able to punch it in like you said, and field goal being blocked, just a really, really hard break for the Wolverines.
A couple of big plays down the stretch, Rick, that you were able to see from your vantage point by Gavin Judson, the Woodland Hills quarterback.
Yeah, obviously that the audible right at the line of scrimmage, seeing that, recognizing the coverage, recognizing that, hey, I got a man wide open, knowing the the situation of the game. Made a great play there, a very headsy play there by the young man to make the audible, make a nice throw, nice completion, 33-yard touchdown to really set everything up for that Chucky Hanchett attempt.
Well, a very tough loss for Woodland Hills, to say the least, and Woodland Hills falls to 0-4 on the season, while Upper St. Clair improves to 4-0 with this 16-14 victory over the Woodland Hills Wolverines. Now, we're going to step away for a couple of minutes, and when we return, we've got some post-game superlatives to let you know about, and they all involve one Woodland Hills player, and if you watch the whole game, you probably know who that is. Again, Woodland Hills falls 16-14. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Panthers post-game coverage here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Woodland Hills football is brought to you in part by the law offices of Owen Seaman. Owen is a Woodland Hills alumnus who studied law at Duquesne University and has been practicing law in the Pittsburgh area for over 15 years. Attorney Owen Seaman's experience encompasses virtually every facet of criminal defense. If you find yourself in need of criminal defense representation, call Owen at 412-721-0412 or visit owenthelawyer.com. There are a few things that guys like more than a great haircut at a real barbershop. And at the Barbers Inn on Washington Avenue in Swissvale, you'll find both. Plus, you can relax in style on supple leather sofas while watching their big screen HD TV. You can even shoot some pool while you wait. But most importantly, you'll walk out the door with a haircut or shave that you're sure to love. Walk-ins are always welcome at the Barbers Inn. For more information, call 412-271-7434. And remember, real men come to the Barbers Inn.
LG3 Entertainment is a first-class disc jockey and karaoke entertainment company that serves the Pittsburgh and surrounding areas. They offer a wide range of music entertainment for weddings, anniversaries, school dances, corporate events, and more. They also offer beautiful chair cover linen rentals to give your event the elegance it deserves. They offer many more services, so go to their website today and see why so many choose LG3 Entertainment for the best in family fun entertainment. Whether you need a new website or want to improve your existing site, Web Landings can serve your needs. Web Landings provides professional, easy-to-maintain websites for businesses, organizations, and individuals. Discover more at weblandings.com and find out how editing your site can be as easy as using a word processor. Plus, we offer 1 year of free hosting for any website developed. Visit weblandings.com today.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Woodland Hills falls 16-14 to the Upper St. Clair Panthers in a hard-fought football game where Woodland Hills took a 7-0 lead into the locker room. Upper St. Clair ripped off 16 straight special teams or defensive points in the third quarter. Woodland Hills tried to storm back, scoring an offensive touchdown in the fourth frame, drove all the way down the field with time waning, but a field goal by Chucky Hanchett of about 28 yards was partially blocked and fell short. And we're wrapping it up for you here on the Woodland Hills Football Network. And it's time to talk about some post-game superlatives here in the post-game show. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home play of the game. And that's got to be the big touchdown pass from Gavin Judson to Jaden Lucas, a play that Rick McIntyre, you said, wasn't designed. It was just a heady play by the QB.
Yeah, as soon as they came off the field, I kind of went and searched out number 9 on the sidelines, and as breathless as he was and excited as he was, I asked him, I said, was that called, from the huddle? And he said, I said, was it called from the huddle or did you just go? He said, I just go.
And Eric, we had a really good view of that up here, how he just saw a receiver open there on the left-hand side and threw it out there for the TD.
Absolutely. You have to take advantage of things like that when you play good teams. And when there's a huge miscommunication that close to the goal line, Judson made a great play and a great catch by Lucas.
Speaking of Lucas, it's going to be a theme with Jaden Lucas here in the post-game show because it's time to award the Attorney Owen Seaman defensive stand of the game. Now, it's culminated by the interception by Jaden Lucas, but the defense played so very well today. They pitched a shutout against an Upper St. Clair offense who came into the game scoring some points.
Yeah, the defense was fantastic. You can't ask anything else of them. They played wonderfully, and hopefully that carries over because you got guys back like DeJuan Howes and Sidney Summers who had big effects on the game. Guys like Mike Roman all year he's been there, Caleb Bavard. Hopefully they can get back together for this game against Baldwin next week.
Yeah, throughout the game, Adam, there was a handful of plays, big plays on third down, second down, and short, where the defense as a whole stepped up, made a big play, forced them into a punt situation, and honestly, any one of those series could have been considered the defensive stand, of the game.
And we talked about how there's a theme with Jaden Lucas. Now he was involved in the Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home play of the game. He culminated the Attorney Owen Seaman defensive stand of the game, and he is our Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home player of the game because he did so well both offensively and defensively. Big pass breakups. He had the INT. He had a couple of catches, including the big touchdown.
He's a big weapon for the Wolverines on both sides of the ball. We've talked about him all night, and hopefully he continues that. It'll be sad to see him go after this year as he is a senior.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to see what else he can do for the rest of this year.
Eric and Rick, your final thoughts on the game before we look forward to next week at home against Baldwin for homecoming.
Well, there's a lot you can take from it. And like we talked about, the defense was fantastic. And moving forward, since we said 16 teams out of the 24 make the playoffs, even though you're 0-3 in conference, you still have some games, winnable games, Baldwin, Moon, Chartiers Valley, even that West Allegheny game. Just stay together. Hopefully Coach Tim can get them back and ready for this Baldwin game because it is very, very crucial.
I think my big positive for this week is, I always focus on the big dogs up front and seeing some of those kids that we were missing earlier in the year coming in and making obviously a big impact today. We had a pretty successful running game with both running backs running the ball pretty well. And my biggest thing for me this week, this is by far the best effort I've seen out of the Wolverines this season, and there was no let up in them through the entire game. Like the last couple games, you've seen a little bit of a fade towards the end of the third quarter, and it's just kids being gassed and out of energy. This game, they kept that intensity up throughout.
Again, Woodland Hills falls to the Upper St. Clair Panthers 16-14 with the loss. Woodland Hills is 0-4, and Upper St. Clair is now 4-0. We've talked about it already, but Woodland Hills will take on the Baldwin Highlanders next Friday night. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Our coverage starts at 6:50 right here on the Woodland Hills Football Network. But come on down to the Wolverena because it's homecoming here in Turtle Creek. For my broadcast partner, Eric Schuley, our on-field reporter, Rick McIntyre, and our entire crew, I'm Adam Gusky. Thanking you for joining us tonight. You've been tuned in to the Wolverines and the Panthers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Today's broadcast of Wolverine football was presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Wolverine football is also brought to you by the Triangle Barn Grill, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, the law offices of Owen Seaman, Bush Brothers Car Care, the Barbers Inn in Swissvale, LG3 Entertainment, Web Landings, ABOS Opticians, Matthews Auto Service, and DeZubin Dental Associates. This broadcast has been a presentation of A.W. Gusky Productions and LG3 Entertainment. Copyright 2018.